Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, Coming in, today is May 1st already, and it's our regular meeting of the Town Tourist Board. And, can the town clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Chair Turgerman,
Here.
Vice Chair Jacobson,
Here.
Board Member Singer,
Here.
Board Member Gonzalez,
Here.
Board Member Herman. Here. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Before we continue into the meeting, I'm going to use a moment of privilege, and I want to recognize a new town manager. He has been chosen after many, many, many resumes were received in the town. He became one of the finalists, and at the last commission meeting or special meeting, he was finally given the position of town manager. And to that, I congratulate you. Mr. Manager, welcome to your position.
Chair and board, thank you very much. Be an honor to be here with you, and anything I can do of service, that's what I'm here for.
Thank you. Can we have gentlemen that are outside? Come on in. The next item in the agenda is approval of the minutes.
Chair, before we do the approval of minutes,
Yes.
for some reason, it didn't come up in this agenda. We have the commission liaison report, if the mayor would like to give a report.
Yeah, how come it was overlooked?
This section must have gotten deleted when it
So,
was
so
in the
that,
other
so that in
ones.
actuality is the next
When I
item?
upset our town clerks, it just disappeared the other day.
So is that, town clerk, is that the next item on the agenda?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
it
very
would be
good.
For him.
So before we continue, the floor is given to the mayor, who is our liaison, for his report. The mayor?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor. Just very quickly, first of all, I wanted to extend our appreciation to the board for extending those two programs, Third Thursday and the Surfside Under the Stars, which have been tremendously successful. I'm thinking of the dancers in the last one. They were very well attended, and we appreciate that you guys noticed that and put that extra effort into it and extended those programs, and we look forward to the next ones. I was at the last Music on the Beach with the karaoke. It attracted a lot of tourists. Let's put it that way. A lot of people on the beach. Didn't see a lot of people from the city there, but kids were having fun and things. And hopefully, venue will possibly change a bit, and we could attract some more people. But it still went off well. This last week, we opened up the exercise equipment on the beach. We officially ribbon cutted it, opened it up. That is to promote, obviously healthy living with the residents, but also it'll obviously create more of an attraction for those that have come here to enjoy the beaches and stay at the hotels, and we hope to see a lot of people using them. That is the report. Thank you all for your work.
Thank you, Mr.
Much
Mayor.
appreciated.
I do want to interject that many, many residents, not too many tourists as of yet, but many, many residents have acknowledged the incredible reception that the chairs on the community center are giving the residents. All I have is accolades to the commission that have done that foresight, and it's an incredible service that the commission has done for the residents of
We'll say you won't get any feedback from any of the tourists because that is exclusively for residents.
correct.
Um,
But as a resident, I'm bringing that to your attention, that
Thank you. I will pass it
the
along.
feedback it's been incredible.
Likewise, I think we're starting to reach capacity on Sundays already, over the weekends, but I encourage everybody who's watching and everybody over here to go out and enjoy it.
But I'm pretty soon we're gonna have the ribbon cutting on the Hawthorne lot, correct?
Yes, that had to be postponed a lot. The park is actually opened as of this weekend, but we had to postpone the event. Rather.
Just one question. I was at the previous commission meeting, and one of the commissioners made a statement that this board was using money from the COVID times in order to fund all the activities and items that we've been doing this year. And to the best of my knowledge, all of the funds that we've used for this year came from this year. I don't believe we've dipped into any special funds or reserves. It was in this project. So, if you'd be able to bring back to the commission a corrected statement from on behalf of the board that we are using the funds allotted to us for this year to clarify the record.
Yes, as we spoke earlier, I would like, for the board chairs to come out. Maybe the board chair could mention that during the report and clarify to the commission and the residents that the events that we are seeing are coming from this year's tourist budget, from the revenue being brought in and not coming from some imaginary
Reserve.
savings account that because of COVID wasn't addressed.
I have a question
We
about
shall,
that.
we shall absolutely acknowledge that at the next commission meeting. Yes, Diana?
No, how someone can say that if it's very clear that the budget is coming from the tourists?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
How they can say that we are using funds from other,
Well, they can
when
say
it's very
anybody they
clear
want. I mean, it's,
that we're
that's-
using what's supposed to be, right?
right, but that's what they want clarification.
You'd have to
That's what
clarify
Ben is
that
alluding
with Commissioner Nelly. You'd have to clarify that with her. She's the one who made that statement. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to, from our side, to have it corrected on the record that we are not using any other funds.
Yeah, because
What he wants is
everything follows the
clarification.
money,
Yeah.
right? Everything is there.
Yep.
Right.
Thanks.
All right, you're welcome. The next item on the agenda, let's see, Public Works.
It's the approval of minutes.
Yes, I
Sorry,
know,
no.
I was trying to jump for the acknowledgement, but I guess we'll continue with the agenda. So the next item, item number 3, approval of the minutes of April 3rd. Hope you all read it. Is there any corrections, deletions, or additions? No? Okay, can somebody move to approve it, please?
Motion to approve the minutes?
Do I have a second?
One second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Next item is Frank, you're on as far as tax collection vacancies report.
Thank you, Chair. The current report that I shared looks at the peak season, so it's November through February, and looking at those peak seasons, to see how we did in those months. And as we've been reporting the last couple of months, there is a slight dip that we have seen in last year's record numbers. But when you look at the percentages, they're relatively low. We're down 2.2% in food and beverage, 3.7% in accommodations. But if you compare that to 2018-19 season before COVID and all of that, when we were also doing quite strongly, we're doing a lot better than we were a few years back. So overall, we're not really too concerned. We expected a little bit of a decrease, but we're still holding very strong.
That's really excellent, really, really good. Goes to show you people are still coming to Miami Beach, Surfside. Bal
Absolutely,
Harbour,
yeah.
and so
Yeah, this area is I think doing the best.
Very good, thank you, Frank. Next item is item number 5, discussion items. And I am on for 5A, Public Works Employee Appreciation. Many, many times in our daily lives, we overlooked people that support us in the background. And I had suggested that we honored and acknowledge 2 Public Works employees that work endlessly all of the events that we have, whether it be Third Thursday, whether it be Saturday Night Live, or whatever. And it's sometimes overlooked. So for that reason, I thank the board. They supported me in acknowledging 2 Public Works employees with a gift card, being Derek Scott and Curtin Turner. So this board joins me in thanking both of you for the hard work that you do in every one of the events that we put up. And you do it quietly, and you do it expeditiously, and we thank you for it. And as such, where is
Gift card.
sorry?
Are you looking for the gift cards?
Yes.
Are
I
they-
set them on your desk.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, in the
Guys, can you come up? And want to take a picture?
Yes.
You take pictures too? Pictures too. Come on, guys. We don't take pictures. No, this is mine. Oh, it's yours. Come on, guys, let's get together. Let's get together. You guys are wonderful.
Yeah, and you'll get out. I have a camera. I could do it. I'm a photographer now. Jose. Okay, ready? Yep, I'm a photographer now. 1, 2, 3. Let me take a couple more. Hold on. And just one more so that Frank can choose the best one. Got it.
Thank you so much. Well deserved.
Thank you.
These are the moments that I really, really, truly enjoy. Acknowledging people that work very hard and nice and quiet.
Bye. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I want to bring this to thank you on behalf of the board for bringing this to all of our attention. It's really, taking care of the guys who take care of us is incredible, and thank you for bringing it forward.
Thanks, man, I appreciate those comments. I appreciate it. Okay, now for the next good thing, I don't see plastic.
Yeah, maybe skip ahead.
Yeah. The 5B, which is the report on
Fishing.
plastic fishing. Are you going to do it, Frank?
No, that should be Rodrigo, who should be on the way. So if we could please skip ahead until he arrives. I see Sarah's next, also not here yet. So we can, I guess, move to 5.
5 what?
5D.
5D.
D.
Right. Okay, so we're skipping for the meantime 5B, which is Earth Day Plastic Fishing Festival recap. We're also skipping 5C for the time being. And we're also going now onto 5D, which is update official Surfside Florida t-shirts for sale. Frank, you're on.
Yes, thank you, Chair. As you know, you had all selected design, the color block design that was approved at the last meeting, and we have touched base with Human Prints, the vendor who could be selling them on site. We also spoke with Publix, who was initially very interested in the idea, but unfortunately their corporate ended up saying no, just did not. It's a corporate decision, and unfortunately they said no. But we can still explore the online retail option through Human Prints. They do have a shop on Etsy, which is like an Amazon, that could be listed on our website for folks to purchase. And legally, I believe we are okay except on one component. I think the challenge is to sell the shirts for a fixed amount of price, so for $10. I got 3 different options on t-shirts from the Human Prints vendor. I think one is 13, one's about 16, and then there's another one for about 20. So the complication is selling them for $10 because, and the attorneys can expand on that, but there's, sales tax, there's, different monies. Where does it come out of? The sales tax, there's complications there. But if we were to just sell the shirt for a normal price, whatever the shirt might cost, then I think it's a lot easier to move forward with it quicker. But I will.
Just a question. We've done this in the past, as I said, and I don't know if we need to look at history. But we, past tourist boards, sold T-shirts at the events, not in the retail stores, but at the events. And we always had volunteers selling them. Now, the logistics of it, I do not know. As far as where the money went, I do know the person that was selling them on the table was charged with the funds that would receive at the time of selling the shirts. So we do have history. Now, I don't know if logistics have changed, but, I think it'll be interesting to see if we at least can put them in CVS. I don't know if you looked into that opportunity.
We're gonna check with CVS now that Publix fell through to see if they could potentially carry it.
The other question is, since you say that there's a problems with the price, I just dropped $10 at the original discussion. I said, we can sell them at $10. And if CVS falls through, maybe we just limit them at our events, sell it for $10. I think $10 is a good price for a quality T-shirt.
That's the complication, so I guess I'll defer to the attorney.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, so I think there's two separate issues. First, if the town, what I can do is we'll talk to the clerk, Sandra, and email her and ask her about how it was done in the past. But really, I think it's something that needs to be dealt with through the financial department. Because like he was saying, there are there's sales tax that needs to be remitted to the state, and we're not in the business of selling T-shirts or operating as a store. I don't know how it was done in the past. If there was a vendor, what there was not. Okay.
No,
But-
the T-shirts were ordered, and at the time of the events, actually, we had different shirts for different events. And every event that we had specific T-shirts. And those are the T-shirts that we used to sell. And I believe the sales price, I believe it was $10. I think that's why I came up with the idea of selling the shirts for $10. Because it's a feasible amount. But if it creates a huge problem, then I don't think that the board is going to support. If it's too cumbersome of a logistics, then I don't know how the board would feel on that. I just try to make something simple, something that people are asking for, and this way here we can have the same T-shirts on all of the events, one standard T-shirt,
So if the town
which we
wants,
approved.
if you all want the T-shirts to be sold through the town, I think what Frank is saying is that they're more expensive. They're $14 per T-shirt, right? So we would be selling them at a loss, and if you guys.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. It's not a money-making proposition. It's for something for the tourists as well as others, visitors, that take something with them as far as being present on one of the events. And I think I'm right when I say that a lot of the people are asking for it.
Yes, but do we not want to entertain the possibility of just selling them at the higher price? Because the $14 one is the cheapest T-shirt there is, so it's not going to be the nicest. But the other options would probably be around 17 and closer to 20. That's a reasonable price for a T-shirt these days. Of course, we know the price of everything has gone up. So I think it's really the $10 thing that is making it more complicated because
Well, no, then let's move on. Let's forget about the $10.
right, because if we forget about it, I think we can get an agreement quite quickly and get them out probably by the next Thursday.
How does the board, that's my next question. We'll start with Ben.
I've had numerous people come over to me and say they'd like to buy shirts. I have no problem selling them for a loss and using it as part of our promotional budget so that it's subsidized. So if we're doing a $20 shirt for 15 or the $15 shirt for 10, and this is not gonna be mass selling. So we sell 1,000 shirts, which is a lot of shirts to sell. We spend $5,000 on it. I think that's a win. The question is, what's the best way of getting out there? So I don't know if our vendors, if Alan and Sarah are able to sell it at the events on our behalf, just have it assigned, because we can't do the sales tax thing. Maybe one of our vendors can step up for us. Obviously, if we can get it into a CVS or something, that's great too.
But sorry, just to clarify, the shirts at the event would be sold through Human Prints. They're a vendor that prints the shirts on site, and they will do the transaction. So it wouldn't be through Alan or Sarah. It would be through this other
Right.
vendor.
Fine, but they already take care of it. We don't have to worry about it.
Yes,
No
correct.
sales tax
Yeah.
issue with the city.
Right, but maybe the issue here is around the logistics on the city putting money to the vendor to put the price down. I'm not sure how that's.
Is there a problem with that? We can subsidize.
No, like I said, what we'll do is we'll have an agreement with Human Prints to do this work. Well,
Right.
we just approve it.
Well, that's
We'll work out.
exactly my
Right.
point.
So it seems to be a two-tier strategy. The strategy one is to make sure it's at the events with this Human Prints company, if that's the best company to do. I mean, have we looked into other companies, or is that the only company? Are they local? What's
Well,
special?
the reason why we looked into this company, so you know, is they came and supported us in one of our events. And they were giving T-shirts out for free. And so that prompted me to tell Frank, hey, let's talk to the guy and see if he can print this particular T-shirt, which he said he can, and then he'll collect the funds for us.
They also print them on site, which is
On
kind of cool
site.
and interactive because you get to see how they like
Right.
do the colors, and then they can actually have people or kids, if they want, like kind of press them as well, so they're involved in the process. It's
That's why
interactive.
we basically looked onto this company.
So maybe you do those at a loss, and then you get something with like CVS where they're available, and you sell that at cost. Therefore, the mass market ones are there, but you come to an event, you're now supporting the group, you're joining the whole tourist thing. At that point, all right, we'll cover some of the cost of the shirt. How does that sound?
I feel very comfortable with that. Zeke?
I'm fine finding the way. It needs to be simple for the city. But if this vendor works well and we can negotiate like a good price, I think it's great.
I agree too, but just I recommend start with a small amount of t-shirts, not 1,000 like Ben said, is to try to see how it works. And yeah, we can try later more and more, right?
They have the T-shirts. This company have the T-shirts.
Yeah.
And when you approach them, they'll ask you, small,
How
medium,
many?
large, you know, and then they'll print the print
Yes.
T-shirt at that moment, and you pay them.
But it's not something that we need to order at 500 or
No,
100.
No,
It's
not
whatever
that
they
I
want.
know of. Is that correct? We don't need to.
No,
order
there's
this.
no minimum
Right.
amount.
It's
no,
their
there.
T-shirts, and then
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
they'll collect the funds.
He has inventory because he prints them for other things anyway.
Yeah.
But I would need to know from the board which of the 3-tier shirt do you want to move forward with, so that
What do you mean?
the basics, there's a more basic price, the middle, and the best
I
quality.
don't think basics will work.
I would say
but wait.
middle or
You have
Wait.
samples?
But wait. I have one more comment pending.
Oh, no, I'm good with, yeah.
I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
we get your input.
Yeah, you know, Frank, Rod had really nice fisherman shirts, like whatever quality.
Rodrigo. Yes.
Yeah, those were
yes,
really,
those were
really
very
nice.
Yeah.
I don't know who
what
did
vendor
his.
he used, but yes,
Yeah.
they were lovely.
Well, why don't we explore that
Hmm.
and see what we can come up with? But at least we don't have a problem, right, Mrs. Attorney?
No, I think, so Frank, just to confirm, there would be, the town doesn't have to pay him for this service. He's just gonna be paid directly by the people who
Correct.
pay for the t-shirts.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Hmm.
Now, we may have to give them money if we're subsidizing it. If we're
Yeah.
saying that we're selling it for $15
Right,
and it
that's-
costs, I don't know the cost, we should have explored what's the cost on his T-shirts, the ones that he provides.
Yeah, I think those are the prices that he sent me.
Oh, those are the
Yes.
prices?
So those are the 3 types of t-shirts he
So
wears.
we can basically agree as far as the $17 price T-shirt, is that wholesale?
I'm not sure, but that's
Okay, because-
his price.
How much, what is the price? Is that we are talking the middle quality?
Middle, but I wanna know if that's a wholesale price. I don't wanna pay retail.
I know.
Sarah is here and she provides t-shirt every time. That sounds pretty high, doesn't it?
She's worked with Human Prints. Maybe she can come up.
She prints them on site at events.
Hi, everyone. Sarah Liss, 424 91st Street. Yeah, so the Human Prints is the vendor that we use as an activity for the event. So they weren't giving the T-shirts out for free. It was actually coming out of my budget.
So what were you paying for the T-shirts then?
So we pay them an hourly rate for the amount of time that they're there, and then we provide the blank T-shirts or bags or whatever. One month it was aprons actually. So we did the aprons.
Okay, let's talk about T-shirts.
Yeah, so
Time-
I mean, I think that, I don't want to get into like how they gave you pricing, because it might have been a different calculation for them. I don't know how you asked them to give you, what would it be for coming to an event and printing a T-shirt and selling it? That's what you asked them?
I asked him, well, how much would each shirt be? Yeah, I don't think he would charge us to come out to the events and do it.
Right.
It's just how much would the T-shirt be for the consumer? So I asked for 3 different
Yeah.
options.
I'm just wondering if you guys want to just do it the way that I've done it, which
Maybe it's
is
better.
pay him by the time, and then provide the blank shirts or bags, because then people can choose, right?
No, we're not doing bags.
Okay.
We're doing
People,
T-shirts
some
right now.
people like,
Let's-
some people like bags, okay.
Yes, I know. That's the next event.
Okay. So, so that's why I'm not gonna get involved with the pricing, because that's something that he gave you as like a separate kind of,
Okay,
we
we'll
have a
figure it out.
negotiated relationship with him with what we do,
Okay.
but
To know.
I don't know.
It just sounded, that sounds high, like $17 for a shirt just sounded high to
But
me. I've
maybe
ordered
you were
in bulk
asking him
before.
if people are gonna order off the website, and he has to print 1 or 2 at a time. That's a different kind of thing, because to get out the equipment, to print it out like by order, right, is a whole other calculation
Right.
for him, so, okay,
Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Chair,
Yes.
if I could add, I really want to quantify this a little better, but it sounds like we have 2 events left in the year. I know one is, each event is by a different organization or a different events promotion team or events management team. Perhaps it's a task you want to just subcontract to them. In this case, through Sarah, and find out what the additional cost for the hour it is, and then pay the difference. That way, it streamlines it. You already have a contract with them. Any new vendor, you would have to enter into agreement, whether it be a monetary agreement or not. It's still an agreement. Services within the town, properties, whatnot. Maybe one of the existing teams through Sarah, perhaps, would like to consider adding this on as part of their current event services. And perhaps that's the most streamlined way, considering you only have really 2 events left. It's a good way to try it out, and maybe the cost is not that much.
Mr. Manager, through the chair, I did want to say
Yes.
we do have the summer Sundays event, so that there are not just 2 events left. We have more. I asked the vendor if they would be able to do the operation on the beach, and he thinks they can. He's just looking at a power issue, but believe he would be able to come out to the 3 summer Sundays.
So
events.
really be an ongoing thing. So I think let's look and see this venue, see if it works.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, this is not going to be a money-making proposition. Like Ben said, you know, the board, I believe everybody's in agreement that we were able to subsidize, you know, for, let's say if we sell it at 10 or we agreed on the 15 price, whatever. So let's move forward on that.
Yeah, I think, legal said it's okay if we can put an
Yeah,
agreement.
and just, I mean, I think, Frank, the only thing I'm not clear about is how much of budgeted funds will go towards the T-shirts. If it's gonna be subsidized, can he provide a proposal for what that would look like?
Okay, I'll follow up with him.
But we have the funds. We have actually on a site, what, about $20,000 left from the 25? If we need to dip into that.
We have plenty of funding available, yes,
Right.
through there's a PR line item that has a lot of money.
Right.
There was the trade shows item. The website chunk, I'm gonna recommend you guys use it for the letters display, but yes, there's plenty
Yeah.
of funding
So
available.
we have the funding venue. The only thing is to get it done.
Well, the Chair, one thing to just think about, so I was there when they were using Sarah's person, and it's very cool to watch and see, but it is a time-consuming process, and they can only do so many shirts an hour. And a lot of people coming up the street, they want to just walk up and buy a T-shirt and keep walking on. They don't want to make that necessarily a whole activity. So I still think we should have some process of inventory where it's like you don't have to stand there and do the whole custom shirt. You can just buy a shirt and move on with life.
That's a good idea, to have some sort of a stock on different sizes, and that we can come up with at the events. Like I said, at the original, when we used to do it, we had 2 board members who volunteered to sit that evening for 2 hours, 3 hours, and sell them.
Do we have any volunteers?
Chair, keep it simple. If that's what worked in the past, you know how much
Well,
it
it
costs.
did, so, but, I mean,
You buy the bulk, you keep the bulk. Keep it simple. So the cost is less to the town. Ultimately, it's you're selling it for at cost. So, from a finance standpoint, you're just replacing expense.
Right.
But I do have to say, if
cancels out.
we're doing the transaction, then it's not through the vendor. So then we need some
Right.
kind of a transactional method for us, the city, to charge and do all
That's-
of
And
it.
sales
that's when legal-
tax.
Yeah.
And
that's
And I
when
think
legal
that
comes
can
to
be,
place.
it's not, I think we just talked to the finance department about how to do that.
Right.
We can make it
But
work.
I'm telling you, there is history.
I'm emailing the clerk right now to get that information, see if we can pull it up how it was done.
Right. Okay, very
Sure.
good.
I'll get with
Yes.
Javier, finance director.
We'll
It's
figure
not
it out.
complicated. It sounds easy enough. If you want us to buy bulk, we
It's
buy the
not
bulk.
rocket
We'll
science.
replace the revenue. If you want to move forward that way, we'll gladly buy the bulk shirts. I
Once
don't
we
wanna complicate
have,
this.
the board is on board, and I think we should move forward.
And Frank, does the board need to approve the amount?
Amount. That's what we need. Sorry, Madam Attorney.
The amount,
Well, we have to do a not to exceed, and that way they can move it along or something. No?
well, if you want to start figuring out, you want to start figuring out
I-
how
I
much.
mean, we can set an amount for the first few events, and then we'll come back with the full details, how much it'll be to subsidize through the end of the summer Sundays.
We need to figure out basically with the quantity.
Sorry to interrupt, Chair. Regular cotton shirts.
Yes.
Great. Give me 5 minutes. I'll find out the price. I'll give you and quantify it.
Okay, perfect.
Oh,
That's what I need.
oh,
I
excuse
mean,
myself.
I don't think we're gonna sit here and say, okay,
Yeah, so
X
he'll
amount of
he'll get us an-
small, X amount of medium, X amount of large.
Well, how many shirts do we want to buy in the first round? Hector's going to give us a price.
Right.
We'll put that number in, and then as they sell, that will replenish themselves.
Right.
So,
That's exactly where we're at.
right. So we just put what number? How many do we want to put in the initial?
The number.
He's telling us how much it's going to cost. We still have to decide how many shirts we want to buy at the beginning.
Basic math. For $2,000, you get 130, 140 T-shirts based on a $50 per T-shirt. So you want to have 200 T-shirts on stock. It's $3,000. Well, yeah.
Okay, so, Sarah, I see that you want to say something.
Let me just maybe help a little bit. Okay, hi,
Yes.
Sarah Liss again, 42491. Okay, so maybe what I'm thinking is, it makes sense for you guys just to do what we've done, which is hire them for the time, perhaps buy different colors and shirts that you, quality that you like, and pay them for the time, but also you can also pre-order and have them make some in advance that are on stock and work out some kind of pricing on that with them. And then just go from there, right? So the nice thing about having them there at the event is people can choose colors and sizes and like customize
It's
based
gonna
on.
be standard.
Well, it's like if you have a
they-
kid or you have an adult and you know you want to kind of.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
there will be different sizes, but
Right.
it will be a white T-shirt with the letters. Mm-hmm. Okay, because to put these colorful letters in any other background, it'll get lost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we, at least at the beginning, we've shown that it was white T-shirt with the colorful block letters that we have already approved. So any other color, it won't really. Let's not this time around. Let's not go to that avenue. Let's keep it simple.
Okay. We've done many colors.
Yeah.
Still comes out nice. They have
Right,
different
let's keep it
paints
simple,
and things,
Sarah.
and but they can
Thank you.
customize.
But I like the idea, have them pre-print,
Right.
like you said.
Right.
And they can, then we're, the vendors
maybe-
are the, are
Yeah,
done, and
maybe
then
what
we
was
also can
confusing to
have.
them was like you were asking for some kind
Well,
of.
I just pulled up the email. Sorry, my
works.
phone
Yeah.
was full, so before when I was trying to pull up the email, my email just didn't work. I just deleted a bunch of videos and got my email back. So I can see the vendor is suggesting wholesale for the in-person event shirts, which could be subsidized. The $13.44 option, $14.56 option, and $18 option were for the online shop.
Right.
So that'd
people
be
are
for
gonna
the
order them
online, but they will be wholesale and less expensive
At the event.
Okay,
events.
Yeah.
so that works.
And you can tell them to make some in advance to have on hand. and
Exactly.
they'll
For,
do that.
for folks that don't want to stick around, they just want to grab something quickly, they will have them.
But we
Yeah.
need to look into ordering these in bulk, because
Yeah.
like Ben said, we don't wanna have these guests, visitors, whatever, they came in to do everything else, they don't wanna spend too much time waiting in
Well,
line.
Human Prints can do it for you in advance and have it there.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
So we go back to a number. How many shirts would we like to order? And then Frank will get it ordered.
Okay, I'll take some numbers.
Diana, you have to speak into the mic because we don't hear you.
Well,
100?
100?
Okay, Lisa?
But now you have to take in consideration kid sizes, adult sizes, so I think it's gonna have to be I don't know, you have to see how many, or give away another, I don't know, I'd have to think about it. I don't know, I mean, I'd think more than 100. If
thinking
we're gonna
of-
order bulk, it's gotta be more than 100. I mean,
While you're thinking about it, I'm gonna go to Ben.
I would do 100 extra large, 100 large, 100 medium, 100 small. So 400 or something.
400.
Why don't we decide the budget instead of the?
The budget we'll figure it out because we have plenty of money on that.
That's easy to. So why don't we say, okay, let's give them 5K, and the vendor will say us how many large and how many small and how many.
We wanna order how many do you want? Ben says 400.
Yeah, but for
Diana
me, it's
said
more
100.
relevant to say how much money do we have to spend on t-shirts.
Don't worry about the money.
I don't know how many sizes are available. I don't know. We need to focus on kids, on grown-ups, or
We're gonna be,
I don't-
to start,
yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, see the mode and board,
yes.
we're gonna do 100 of each. 100 large, 100 extra large, 100 medium, 100 small.
Grown-ups or kids?
Grown-ups.
What about kids?
And then
We need kids.
we can order also for the kids.
Okay.
So we could have 100 of each for kids, and we have 100 for adults. In other words, extra large, large, medium, and small.
Then and you say 200.
So 200 t-shirts, 100 for adults,
Kids?
100
No.
for kids.
No.
100 each size.
400.
400
400.
adults.
Is that correct?
So
I
800
was
think
guessing
it's
by
more-
the sizes, I figured 100 each to start.
100 each?
That's
Okay.
four. That's 400 plus kids is 500.
Kids.
So you're like 500-600
Okay.
shirts. something like
Okay, so it's 100 each plus the kid size.
So like 800?
No.
400 for, yeah, the 4 adult sizes and the 4 kid sizes, 100 each.
I don't know if you need all 4 kid sizes. I think you could probably do like a small and a medium because a large,
Small,
a
medium for
large
kids?
kid size is a
Okay.
small adults
Okay,
technically, so.
all right. Okay, so about 600.
600.
Mr. Manager, when you were away, I pulled up the vendor email to confirm that it would be wholesale price at the events, and they had given us a $13.44, $14.56, and $18 option for the retail online, for the online version. So the
Be less expensive
the
wholesale.
less expensive at the events, and Sarah came up to the podium again to suggest that we can reach out to Human Prints and have them have some pre-printed shirts available for folks that don't want to, wait too long. They just want to pick up a shirt quickly. So we could probably still execute that.
We could even, if they need assistance, we could always ask the board to assist in case they need assistance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Case. I think we will be willing to. You won't be willing to? I would be willing.
No, I will, but they are going to be thinking that we are selling for something different,
No, it's all right.
Okay.
So we move on that thought,
Yes, I
Process.
have the quantities.
and you'll
and-
Can we-
find out.
Can we get a motion, though, for what the
Yes.
action is?
Yes,
Oh, we need a motion?
yes.
Yes.
please.
Okay, so let's.
All right. Motion is to approve 600 shirts via what's the company?
Human Prints?
Human Prints to use at our events. Do we want to set a price so it's subsidized?
No.
No? As cost is. At the cost.
And again, they will be wholesale
Right, wholesale
Price.
price.
Priced, yes.
at the events.
Do I hear a second on this side?
A second.
Sorry, your microphone was on. I thought you were going to.
Okay.
Board
First,
Member
we
Herman?
hesitated, right?
Board Member Herman? Yes. Board Member Gonzalez?
Yes.
Board Member Singer?
Yes.
Vice Chair Jacobson?
Yes.
Chair Turgerman?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you, guys. Thank
Okay.
you so much. All right, so we move on to that. We have now, the plastic is still not here. Next item that we skipped was Sunday's beach party event.
Sure,
5C?
Sarah? Yes.
That's
Come on.
Sarah?
Yep.
Sarah, you're on.
Up here.
It's,
That one, yep. I do view like, sorry, fit to window and. Oh. Or do- No, I'm not.
no, it's like,
Maybe, yeah, slideshow, there you go. From beginning now? Okay. Here we go. Oh, okay, great. Okay, hi everyone again, Sarah Liss, 424 91st Street. So we're excited to do Summer Sundays for 2023, and we're anticipating a great summer. So as you guys know, these are the components of Summer Sundays. We always have live music. We're always going to do some kind of interactive drum circle or, interactive element. Last year we had bubble soccer. free book swap, art activities, surfing, volleyball demos, SPF station, cocktails, light bites, and snacks. So we're gonna use components of that for every event. We switch it up usually based on, vendors and different partners that we can find. But those are kind of like the components of each event, and we're going to use a lot of the same vendors that we have from Surfside Under the Stars. Some of the music that was a great hit this season, and we'll reuse those people because we like to work with our friendly partners. So here are the dates for 2023. So 4 to 7 p.m. on Sundays. This was our new innovation with this board, as opposed to Fridays. And the dates we have are June 4th, July 2nd, August 6th, and September 3rd. Those are the dates. I don't know if anyone has anything to weigh in on those, but I think we like to keep it the first weekend of the month. So barring any weather, that's usually what happens is, if there's weather, we'd have to then push it to the next weekend. So if we can keep it to the first weekend of the month, we don't end up pushing it too far into the month. And then, it might get lost with other things happening. So, and then some of the partners we worked with last season and also during Surfside Under the Stars, and we're going to work with them again, Smart Water and a few SPF companies that are local to Miami, always trying to get the food from our local vendors as well, and having some sort of beverage, hydration, juice, and we also have the Museum of Art and Design, MOAD. They're coming again as a partner to do art activities for the kids. So honestly, yeah, that's it for what we have going on. We're just going to start, planning and calendaring out. If anybody has any ideas, feedback, things they loved a lot about last season that they'd like to see again, open to it.
I would just quickly ask the board about the funding for the food, something you want to consider.
Oh yeah, was that part of the last discussion? Does it include this stuff, this event? Does it include this event?
Not sure that it.
Okay, was it including this event? I think this event hadn't been part of the discussion because, yeah, so if that's something you guys want to.
What kind of food did we have last time? I don't think I ever made it to these events, unfortunately.
We were doing pizza. We had Surf and Sides bring us some French fry bar. We've had tons of fresh fruit. I always try to bring fresh fruit like watermelon, melon, pineapple. We did the blender bikes as well, so we had fresh smoothies that people do as an activity. We have the drink sponsors doing the cocktails. We have Smart Water or some other hydration station. So it really is dependent on partners and people that we can partner up with, but I like to use the local vendors, obviously.
What was the budget amount on each one of these events?
I think it's 18K, right?
18,500 is
Yep.
right.
Yeah, 18K.
Page 17.
18,005? And in that budget that we have agreed, was there any food available in that,
So we were doing kind of minimal food on that,
like?
like bites, like popcorn, fruit. Sometimes we could do pizza on that budget, depending on how things were positioned for that month.
The attendance and prior experience?
Great. I mean, the one that we did in October, like we did that Encore event in October, was super successful. We actually had probably the most people that time because people had been so excited for the event to come back because we had been on hiatus for about 2 years, 3 years because of the
So
beach.
did you have only one event? Because I don't recall.
We
That's
had,
what I'm
no, we
asking.
had July, August, September.
And October,
And then
yes.
October was the Encore one because everybody
So-
was so happy.
So how was it for each one of those months? Were they similar? Were there less people in one month, more people in another month?
The first month was the slowest. I remember, it was very hot that day, but
Right.
I know they gradually picked up, and August, September, and October were very, very well attended. I remember
Right.
residents coming up and saying, please do these more often.
Yeah.
So now we have a budget on these figures, some of the food, popcorns and water and what else? Pizza and what else?
Yeah, it doesn't really cover like full on like kind of restaurant food. It covers more like
Right.
light bites, beach bite, like, you know, snacky things. So, and it's a 3-hour event. So,
Do you bring your own generator to the event?
yes, we do.
So, Mr. Manager, is there any movement on getting power to the back of the community center? Because my thought is, rather than adding additional budget to this, maybe we can reallocate generator budget that Sarah wouldn't have to pay for, and she could make sure we have lots of.
Yes, sir.
Chair, what's the generator budget? How much is it? The idea is to cover the cost of the work.
I have no idea.
But do we know what the generator
There
budget?
isn't like a specific generator budget because we bring multiple generators, and the generators have to be on the beach because we need to provide power for all the different things we're doing on the beach, like the band and then the inflatable tents that need to be constantly inflated using power. So I think running power from the community center, I don't know if that's possible.
Chair, through
Yes,
the
sir.
chair, it sounds like it's simple enough we could do an outlet, but it sounds like they need much more than just an outlet. Probably need a few connection points.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be enough to fund, to like, you know, provide the bandwidth for the band and all the inflatables.
Chair, we would be providing with a 15 amp out there. I don't think it's enough. But
Oh.
I would have to see the logistics of our event to see if we can. I have to give you a responsible answer back. I have to see. It sounds like there's a few things, not just one. You could provide power just for one thing. Keep in mind, whenever it's done, has to cross the hard pack. And we did have a recent issue in one of our recent events where someone tripped over some wires with an event. So we'll be hearing from that soon. So that's the only liability in this. But other than that, yeah, we could technically, in theory, provide a connection point at, for example, where we keep the beach chairs. That's probably as far east as we can go. Regardless, we could always do that. I just don't know if that's enough for the events.
Where's that?
So it's on the actual fence of the actual community center on the east side, right where it butts the hard pack.
Okay, yeah. Running a wire from there does not seem like a good idea for us.
Well, I know that's what Alan was doing, was he was running power from Collins Avenue. That was one of the ideas, if there was a way of getting enough power to run a band into the back on a permanent structure, you're saving yourself a generator and a wire run. You know, over the amount, I mean, based on the amount of events we have now on the beach, which is seemingly to exceed almost a dozen a year, you know, if we're paying $1,000, $2,000 every single time for a generator to come out, and I think Alan knows these numbers pretty good, so he might be a good resource to ask what that would save if we invest to whatever it takes to get a 20 amp or 30 amp, whatever we need out there to make these guys work.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir.
as of last week, I mean, as last month, I'd have been all for this, but considering that there was an incident on the hard pack, I definitely
Be very
would like to
cautious.
reconsider this.
Is there a way of getting it on the other side of the hard path, like trenching it in so it's no way?
No, that through the chair, that's FDEP jurisdiction, and they do not allow for permanent electrical installs way deep in there.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we're back to the food question again. So do we want to spend any more money on the food? Was everyone happy? I mean, I could tell you from the events that I saw out here when we were running out of food very quickly, people were very happy to have the extra food. And I don't know if this event has in the past been successful, and I don't want to add more money to an event that everyone's happy with. Is anybody on the board, when was at these events? Can anyone speak to it?
Yeah, I think the beach one is different than the ones downtown and here. People come to the beach with stuff like coolers and drinks and food, and I think are a little more prepared. I mean, that's just
Sometimes people come with nothing,
sometimes
no
not,
water,
but,
or anything.
but yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's both ways. I mean, I don't think there was an issue ever with food. I don't.
Well, I think that what you're getting into is like you're setting this precedent now with
Yeah.
all these other events that we're doing where there is free food. And so you're setting up this expectation now where people come to the events and they kind of just assume that there's going to be some kind of substantial food because you've set that expectation up. So,
Well, it's summer, so it's all the food that we can think of is light.
I mean,
And I think Lisa has a point, very good point. That people who come to the beach, they come prepared. They're going to be relaxed and they hydrate. They have sodas, they have water, and so on and so forth. So whatever your budget is that you have allowed to it, I think is plentiful. If we see that on your event, we do run out of food, remember, this is not dinner. This is just compliments from Town of Surfside and the Tourist Board. So I think let's wait and see how production goes. And then we could always add at the next meeting.
The one thing that I really do want to make sure that we see is plentiful amounts of water, and not just smart waters or fancy waters, but if all it takes is a big, Gatorade cooler with water cups underneath it, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
we had that.
it should be spread out. There should be, everybody when they walk by should see water all over, because it's very hot and we don't want people passing out.
Yeah, we had giant jugs of Zephyr Hills water with pumps there.
Okay? All right, thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing your event soon. Be exciting.
This Sunday, we have
This Sunday?
Yeah,
Surfside Under the Stars.
This Sunday we have a Surfside
Pedal
Under the
to-
Stars.
No, I'm talking about, I've seen those. I'm talking about the
Okay.
beach one. I'm excited
Oh,
to
yeah.
see the whole beach.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, just one thing to keep in mind, that it's a 3-hour event, so, to be able to sustain things for the same amount of time that, like, music on the beach is 1 hour, this is 3 hours, so people are gonna be there for longer and coming for longer amounts of time. So it's just something to keep in mind in terms of, like, okay, let's see how it goes. Like, if we had more of an idea of, like, what the expectations were and then what we could prepare for, it's easier for us.
What do we spend on music on the beach versus this?
Music on the Beach is 17,000 per event. This is 18,500, but as Sarah said, it's a 3-hour event.
Okay. Good to know.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah?
Next item is 5E.
And Chair, I just want to let you know the plastic fisherman had jury duty. He's on his way back.
Okay,
He
I
should
was
be
gonna ask
arriving in time for the meeting, but
Okay,
or just if he doesn't, I can do an update on his behalf before I close the meeting.
so I guess the next item is 5E. Correct?
Yes, and Chair, we're just gonna share this as an FYI with the board, but there was some desire to enhance the sign and make it more visual, more colorful. We don't actually need the tourist board's spending authority on this because it's not a lot of money. It's $1,000, and we can proceed without it. But if you all want to cover the expense, you're more than welcome to. I think it'll
I think we
lighten up
should.
the.
I think, contrary to my opinion of not spending money, I think this is a worthwhile $1,000 investment on the tourists.
Put it up on the screen, brief.
Yes, please.
There it is.
There you go. Pull it up. Sorry. Okay. It's a bit bigger this way. All right, there it is on the
Right.
screen.
So for redoing the sign, correct, Frank?
Painting it.
Painting it, yeah,
repainting
or
it, yeah.
refurbishing
Yes.
it, or whatever you want to call it, upgrading it. How do you guys like this?
Like it.
Diana? Yes, I like it. Excellent. Guys?
Question, this is the same design that we're gonna use in the t-shirts and
Well, the
website and,
sign on the T-shirt is the ones that follows the other page.
okay, but
Yeah.
same line, right?
Yeah, basically very
So
similar.
if we are doing the brand of Surfside, we
Yeah.
should be consistent everywhere.
Okay, so we move on. The board likes it.
Okay.
Actually, go back to Ezekiel. These look different.
No, this is
Those are a different,
Are these all these color? I'm saying what he's saying is whatever we pick for this should match this. So I'm
the
looking at
website
one with a blue eye and an orange eye. I'm
right,
looking at
so,
one-
but ultimately, the town commission is gonna decide those. So unfortunately, the board, we hope
Yeah,
the
but
town commission will be consistent and match what the board has selected, but it is ultimately up.
Right, but we should at least give a recommendation of something that's all in sync. So if
Yes.
that's the color scheme we like, which I like it, I don't
Yes.
know, then that's the one we should also be pushing for on the big sign.
Yeah,
Is that on page 33?
Can I make one comment on this one? If the town of is going to be in blue, and then this is going to, follow wording that seems to be in blue, maybe blue shouldn't be the first color on that.
Ooh.
Well, it
Dark
is
blue
on
leading into
page
light blue.
33.
Well, that's what he's saying. Right now, because the first letter is blue on all of these,
Well, the first letter is blue.
Yeah,
But
You
but
may
it
want
shouldn't be
to
blue.
flip around one or two colors
the
so there's a
other one-
contrast.
The other one,
if you like the one on page 33,
No,
you
but
can
if you look at
endorse that
this,
one.
Chair,
It's all blue and you start with a blue. He's saying.
see how it doesn't, the S kind of gets lost because all these other colors are
so you're
bright
saying
and it's.
the other word, the town of Surfside.
it should be like a red S or a yellow S. It should
Okay.
be town of Earthside. It should be town of Surfside. And if you have the blue after the blue, it gets lost.
But I think it's a different blue, right?
It's a slightly
It's a
different
different
blue.
blue.
But it doesn't matter. It's still the
Doesn't
same.
matter?
It's still blue. If it's blue, it's blue. It's going to be hard to see. If you have a big red S after the blue of,
Okay.
you're going to stand out more.
I have a question for the board. Can we all turn to page 33? Beautiful. Can we all turn to page 33? We recommend the commission to adopt this standard for the block letters that may be placed in front of the town hall. Not the community center, these are block letters. And I understand that the town commission needs to approve this. May I recommend that if you like page 33,
Chair, just to clarify, this
yes,
gets approved administratively. We're not going back to the town commission.
No, we're talking about the permanent letters display, not,
permanent letters,
The permanent, yes, but, okay,
Yeah.
we're on two different items,
yeah.
but
Okay,
But we're,
right now, we're talking about the permanent letters, kind of mixed in with the other letters of the community center. Right, so if we like page 33, right, those color sequence, then what do we need? We need a motion
you
to
can endorse that,
recommend?
but through the chair, just to match what the mayor said. Mayor, would your recommendation be to, for example, on page 33, switch the S to red so that when it's on the community center sign, it's the same and it's not blue, so it'll contrast more the word
and
Surfside.
what about if we write town of and community center in black color? That way it's different. That way it doesn't have a problem. Why need to be blue? Need to be blue, no, right? We can write town of community center black and then leave the source side like at a 33 and there is no conflict.
What do
if
you
we
guys
paint-
think? The only thing I can tell you is I like page 33. The colors, the color combination, I think it stands out. It's very, very nice. Now, what we need to decide,
But town of community center, I propose to paint it in black, and that way there is no conflict like they mentioned, because they are right. Blue and then start with blue, we have to change that.
Are you doing a whole new sign up there, or are you just ripping off Surfside and changing it?
correct.
We're just painting over, so yeah.
So
It'll be
are
a
you,
paint
are you
job.
now going to have to paint over the whole thing, or you're painting over the whole thing anyway?
I'm not sure how he's gonna do it, but it's a paint
Like,
job.
we
Right.
have to paint the whole thing.
Right. So the
Yeah.
question is, are all the letters being painted over, or is the idea just to paint over Surfside,
No, I,
the chair, all
whole
others.
the whole thing? So we can pick any color we want.
yeah.
Don't get too, yeah, but take it easy there.
Well, no, I'm saying Diana's thing about putting town of community center words
Black.
in black, for instance, or white or any other color. That's going to be done anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So
Just
this
say
goes
if you're
back.
gonna do this on a T-shirt or something, just keep in mind you may not want to have dark black letters. You may want to put another color. Feel for a lot of.
But we're not gonna have Town of Surfside.
No,
Community
in any
Center
place.
Any t-shirt.
No, it may say town of and then Surfside, or it may say Surfside, Florida. Okay.
We're going to order the Surfside, we're recommending to the commission for standard is Surfside, Florida.
I'd say as someone on the commission, I love this idea. I think it'll look very nice, and I'm happy to try to get that as well.
Thank you. So do we need anything else for
Well-
the community center sign?
We have to decide the color scheme.
Black
Color
or
scheme
white?
is this one.
Right, but if we do that, are we now telling them to paint the letters in black? I mean, I guess going back to the mayor, do you want to switch the red letter from the blue letter? Like, what do you recommend, the graphics?
What do we do with the t-shirt that I got? This letter?
What's the t-shirt?
That's the one I ordered.
Let me look at it really.
Because that really served the basics for the tourist letters. Oh, yeah. To be honest with you, I don't even mind having Town of Community Center in white.
Exactly, white or black,
What I like is Surfside is to stand out.
the same colors,
And
yes.
I would really suggest to the entire board that the other color doesn't really matter. The fact that we're doing this is to have tourists try to take pictures and attractive enough to be Surfside. So I don't care if, I shouldn't say I don't care, but I say that if you want Town of Community Center in white, it's okay too. As long as the Surfside stands out in the color matter.
I think it might look nice in white, but
Yeah, I mean, white
Yeah.
is soft, and you make the other letters, which is what we really want, stand out.
Chair, let us do white, and if we don't like it, we'll turn it black.
There you go.
you know.
Problem solved.
Chair, I've got the design here, so we see it was original. It is the same, so it is with the lighter
the same.
S.
Perfect, so keep that, make the thing white.
Okay.
All right, motion,
Okay.
But there
Great.
are different colors for D and I. Did you see? The 33 are different colors.
And
I and D.
yes, the eye is supposed to kind of be periwinkle, just to match the building a little bit, because keep in mind it's going to be in front of the town hall. But if you all like these
Yes.
version the best, we will match it to the
Okay, perfect.
all
okay,
right,
to the
so
t-shirt design.
That's
We'll match it.
fine.
motion to approve a letters that match the t-shirt design, both for the wall up there, except the wall up there will be white letters for Town of Community Center, and you'll match this exactly as the t-shirt. That is my motion.
I
I second. I'm gonna second
won.
this time.
No, sorry, I won.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, guys, it made me sweat. All right, next item. Yeah, I think we have now the plastic fisherman on board now.
Yes, Rodrigo.
And
Oh, Mike.
Rodrigo, can you come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record?
Your video right here. You wanna play it?
Hello, Commissioners. This is Rodrigo Butori. I live on 9517 Carlisle Avenue. I am the plastic fisherman, founder of the Plastic Fisherman Organization. Thank you for having me here today. All right. So, first of all, again, I want to thank you guys for this event. Thank you guys for trusting us with this event and with this opportunity to bring plastic fishing to our town. I also want to thank you for the patience for waiting for me today. I was on jury duty. I thought that our meeting was tomorrow, so I apologize for that. I put together a video that we shared already in our social channels. And also I have a couple of numbers that I would love to run through you to talk about the event and how successful it was and all the good stuff. So let me start with the video and then we'll talk about the numbers. Frank, I'm struggling with the the mouse here. I'm an Apple guy, so thank you. All right, so this video is for you guys to use as much as you want, of course. It's a tourism video, it's a tourism piece. The event was very successful. We had around between 200 and 250 people that passed through the event. I mean, there's, of course, waves of people coming in and out of the Earth Day event. We had two partner organizations with us, the Miami-Dade Sea Turtles, that had a tent of their own that they were explaining and telling the kids about, our nesting season and all things about sea turtles. We also had the Ocean Rescue Alliance International that had their tent inside the community center. So they were talking about, artificial reefs and the importance of reefs in our ecosystem. We gave 75 T-shirts along with 50 tote bags. I think you guys seen those before. They have Surfside on one side and Plastic Fisherman on the other side. In total exposure on our organic site, through organics, not through promotion, we had 17,500 plays or views on Instagram. 2,000 views on Nextdoor. And then through paid exposure, we had 30,000 promo of the event on Facebook, leading to the event. And then we had a whole thing with the new topic where we had an article promoting our town called The Locals to Know, and I think Frank was the start of that. So we're promoting our town and the efforts that our town is pushing through sustainability. And of course, Plastic Fishing Festival was one of those things. We also had banners. We also had promotions on the website and Instagram. Leading to the event, there was a fish, and the people had to name that fish, and they won a Plastic Fisherman kit and all that good stuff. Eventually, we had a live leading to the event, and I'm still gathering those numbers from the new topic. As soon as I have them, I'll provide them to Frank, so we have a full spectrum of the reach and what we did with our event. So again, I want to thank you for that, and hopefully we'll do a second one in September. Cool. Anything you want to add, Frank?
From your experience on this event, would you change anything?
No, I think it was pretty good. I think the location was pretty good. I think the fact that we did along with the Earth Day Festival was pretty fantastic because we had a pretty smooth transition between the folks. I think if I had it my way, I would have done it. I mean, we couldn't do it because it was the date, but I think Sunday would allow for those churchgoers or people who are into services to come, enjoying the event, because a lot of people could not do that on Saturdays. That would have been, an extra flow of people, I think. But in terms of organization, I think I was pretty happy with that. I don't know if you guys have any comments or any suggestions, which I'm happy to accommodate.
The next event is the one that we're coordinating for the World event, or was it this one?
This one, we also had one in Dusseldorf happening at the same time, but the next one, we're also going to have one in Dusseldorf and also one in Brazil. Yeah.
Brazil.
Yeah.
What's the date that we have?
It should be September 16 is the weekend off. September 16. September 16 is the coastal cleanup day or world cleanup day, but it's a Saturday. So maybe in this case, if we decide to do it on Sunday to accommodate again, those going.
Well, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was getting to. Instead of having it on a Saturday, perhaps we should do a Sunday.
We should try. Yeah, I think it's worth it.
How does the board feel? Fine. Diana? Senor?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to come, but I was in synagogue, so I wasn't able to attend. And I know a lot of other people had the same, we always stood around talking about not being able to go.
Yes.
So I think Sunday is the day that we should look into for the next event.
Fantastic. I mean, that's,
And I think that
I think
after,
I think it's the 17th. I'll confirm, but yeah.
okay, very good.
I have a question. All the activities that were at the community center, did you bring those in, or is that?
No,
That was through
Oh.
parks.
Oh, okay, because the person that did that, the like melted plastics and
Yes,
made
I
things-
love
oh my
that.
God,
I
was
got
so
a
cool.
they have, I guess, repurposed plastic
Yeah.
that they make little keychains of sea turtles, dolphins.
Really
I got
cool.
one. They were free and they were very nice. So perhaps that's a vendor I thought we could invite back
idea.
to different events. Yeah.
Excellent.
But I know, I arrived, not even maybe, I don't know, half an hour into it, and I mean, people were like going crazy collecting trash. People were really, really into it. I know I took my son around, and he would not leave until he filled up his bucket. So I think people were very passionate. I think it was great. I think it was good for the kids especially, and the
Yeah.
kids really got into
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Excellent, that
Really
was the
good.
purpose.
Yep, it was good.
Thank
Bring
you.
awareness.
Yep.
All right, thanks. So we look into for the Sunday then.
I think
the venue.
Sunday is the 17th, and I think Sunday it's a lot of people, tourists in the beach. That would be good for awareness for them,
Cool.
because
Got
it's the
it.
people who left everything in
Yeah,
the beach.
I also, if I'm correct, the next one we're gonna make on 95, right, not in front of the cat turtle, or we're gonna do that on, I mean, we'll figure that out, but I thought we were moving, you tell me.
If the community center worked, we should keep it there.
That's fine, I mean,
I think we get some flow from the community center itself. People will see things happening, and maybe people from the beach club want to jump in as well. So I think the location could work.
fantastic. I have a question though, the chairs on the right side, can we have the event on the left side in front of this life saving station over there? Just because we were a little bit further to the
I
right,
think that
Manager says no.
unfortunately, yeah, with
it has
because
to-
of the
Manager gives a no.
it has to be after the chairs.
You have, Chair, two constraints. Nothing in front of the lifeguard towers.
No, to the left off,
When you say left, you mean north or south?
north, no, yeah, north of the, yeah.
Then you're not so much there close to the community center anymore.
Yeah, because the chairs, they literally take like 100 yards, so we're like really, I mean, again, it's
I'll
just
leave
an
it on
obstacle.
the,
Yeah,
I'll leave it for this,
we can
this
decide that
board to
later,
decide,
yeah,
but
yeah.
just keep in mind, the moment you're northern of the lifeguard tower, you're no longer in front of the community center. It's the only point of consideration there. I have no issues with that other than that.
Let's keep it the way we had it,
Fantastic.
okay?
All right.
Keep it simple.
All right, thank you very much.
Peace process.
I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
thanks a million,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
thanks
you,
for the good
Rodrigo.
work. Thanks. All right, any comments from the board? No. Okay, next item is the special events contractor position update.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I placed on your desk the suggested scope of work for this position, and if you all are good with it, I will give it a good read. Please let me know if you have any additions, Manager.
And before I turn it over to Frank, Chair, keep in mind that this would be an exhibit to the entire contract, and the contract would be a professional services contract for this individual or entity.
Right.
But this is specifically an exhibit within the contract that would outline the scope of services that you're requesting from this contractor consultant.
And I drafted it in a way that, they would be getting their direction primarily from you all, the board, not necessarily staff. So in terms of this tourist board and town responsibilities, the tourist board will provide direction and requests for new events to the consultant at the monthly board meetings. The board will also provide a set budget not to be exceeded for each event or activation. The town will share all relevant marketing materials with the consultant, such as brand guidelines and assets from previous tourism special events. The town will provide access to its communications channels in order to successfully promote the requested events. And if something should arise in between meetings, the consultant will work with town staff on any event-related issues that may arise, and those issues would then be subsequently reported to the board at the next meeting. In terms of their responsibilities for the consultant, they will exercise the same degree of care, skill, and diligence in the performance of the scope of services as is ordinarily provided by the consultant under similar circumstances. We want to make sure that they do their best work when working with the town. They will work professionally to produce all the events requested by the tourist board, whether small or large in scale. They will keep up with industry trends and identify opportunities to bring new events and experiences to tourist board. They will also meet the tourist board's execution timeline and provide all deliverables as requested. They should have the ability to produce a pop-up event within a week's notice, but ideally we want to give them some more time, of course. The consultant must provide event recap presentations to the tourist board, identifying successes and opportunities for improvement where possible. The consultant will respond timely to the town within 2 business days of the receipt of an email communication from the town requesting support with an event-related task. If the town has an event-related emergency, staff should call or text the consultant describing the request and timeframe for requested response. And lastly, the consultant will provide the town with the estimated number of billable hours per event directed by the tourist board.
Any comments? Any additions? Deletions?
Mr. Manager, can I get your thoughts on this?
Through the chair, absolutely. Vice Chair, I did have a few comments I would add as well. I think they're more of controls. Obviously, you're allowing an individual or organization to use funds. So what I would add under consultant responsibilities is something along the lines of consultant to provide an estimate, probable cost, and actual cost pre and post event for some level of tracking funds. And it should be provided an itemized type of report. That way, you know the expenditures and how they're outlined. Rather, I don't think they should be served the leniency of having a lump sum. This is how much it's going to cost me. These are all going to be, keep in mind, this individual being paid by the hour, but there's certain costs that may be affiliated with this event that the tourist board would have to approve from different sub-vendors, if you will. And those all have a cost. So I think you should receive an itemized report back of how break down that cost. I would add another thing, consultant available. Don't take it the wrong way, but obviously if it's a resource to you, why not a resource to us? It just should be available to the town as well. Administratively, if perhaps they could provide us some level of efforts or assistance, we'd be able to tap into that resource of this contract as well. I would add one more item in item 5 under the Surfside Tourist Board and town responsibilities. It's understood here, but consultants shall report to the tourist board and meet with members at will. That way, they can meet with members. If a member decides to schedule a meeting with them, they can always, they're at your leverage. You're at your, well, I would incorporate that in some way or another. But those are my only comments. The last one I would defer to legal, though. Obviously, there's certain sunshine rules related with that, but I think it can be done in a way that works. Just because from an event, from a month to month, you might be stuck in a position where some decisions or something needs to occur, or an update or whatnot. So maybe even authorizing a liaison within your board to meet with this individual or be coordinating. And it doesn't have to be for all events, but maybe for some events. That's maybe just the way you instruct that individual, so it doesn't have to be contractual. But I just thought it was a thought.
Well, thank you for that. I definitely, all those things make sense and sounds good to me, so glad we got your insight on that. One of the things that we really wanted to do differently with this consultant versus all of the other events that we're running is we wanted a consultant that was really working for us, and we were paying them for their time, or for originally we're structuring it almost as an employment, but at the same time they shouldn't be going out and hiring someone and making a markup, right? Because we have people who do that for us now. There's no need for an additional spot. The idea behind this person was someone who would bring things together at a per cost basis, and wouldn't really compete with our existing vendors, but supplement them in a way that it wouldn't financially make sense to our current vendors to do it now. That covered in there? Does that make sense?
I would agree. I think that's when you're requesting an itemized invoice, you know what what it's going into, and you could truly get a taste for what it is that they're buying out. If whatever reason, it's a small scale event, they want to have a small ice cream truck. You see how much that truck's going to cost you, rather than just having a lump sum. The event's going to cost $5,000, and thank you for the money, and not knowing how it's itemized. Because this individual is only to make the profit based on their hours. It's not to make a profit or on the event.
Can we put that into the contract that they're not allowed to receive kickbacks or something of that markup?
I think legally you're not allowed to. But with that said, there might be a way to draft that within the professional service agreement that the payment with this vendor is an hourly rate. That hourly rate can be marked up to professional services, but that's it. and there is no monies to be made through the extension of any events, but there might be an easier, more legal way to say that.
We can do that. I guess my only question is, Frank, how do you all envision this? Are you going to post this on the website, and then are the board going to with
I
candidate?
believe so. The manager could probably touch on that because all of the consultant positions go through him, not HR.
And to answer that question, we would probably do a request for proposals. When it's time to evaluate the proposals, that section will be defined that they come to this table.
Good. Okay. Is that all clear?
We will move forward and add the changes the manager suggested to the scope and proceed to draft PR.
Anybody else?
You need a motion on it, or?
It's always nice to formalize it with a motion.
All right, so motion to approve based on the manager's comments and the additional comments on the making sure there's no additional fees and surcharges added to it. What?
Good catch on that.
I don't think.
Do I hear a second? No, I want to say second.
And second,
Board
Town
mem-
clerk?
Board Member Herman? Yes. Board Member Gonzalez?
yes.
Board Member Singer?
Yes.
Vice Chair Jacobson?
Yes.
Chair Turgerman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. All right. Next item is 5G, which is a proposal for promo bike locks. And that is Chair Ben, Vice Chair Ben.
Chair, thank you for calling on this. So the idea here was that I know that the police department is investing a lot of time going around telling everyone to lock their bicycles. I mean, it seems like a silly thing, but in our small town, that's one of the highest crime issues we have, other than people for not locking their car and leaving their key in their car. Another problem with cars, but if maybe this board could give out bike locks, it would hopefully encourage more people to lock their bikes and use it. I believe the police has some sort of budget for this. So the idea would be to somehow partner with the police to spend a little bit of promotional money that have, Surfside and to give out bike locks at the events like we've been giving out other activities and things.
Question.
Yes.
Is the police will be paying for the locks and to give it away in the
I'm
town?
saying to partner.
Partner, we would
Saying
go
to partners,
some of the promotional money that we have
Okay.
maybe from that website line or something else, we could use some of that money towards bike locks to be able to give out at events. So, they have like those tables with the, I don't know, they've given out all kinds of interesting things over the years.
Frank?
Yes, through the chair. A wonderful idea, Vice Chair, and it ties in very nicely with National Bike Safety Month. Unfortunately, we did do a whole lot of research on the types of bike locks that are out there that are brandable, and we did not find any that are brandable that the chief thought would be effective. I mean, he suggested like these good master locks, but they're not brandable, so we can't use promotional item money if it's going to say master lock and it doesn't say Surfside. We did find a couple of variations that were brandable. Again, Chief didn't really like them, but I looked into them anyway, but they take 3+ weeks to ship, so they would not arrive in time for any of our events. We do have some cool bike helmet ideas to animate the Pedaltopia theme coming up this Sunday, which falls on National Bike Day. Perhaps the police could still move forward with the master locks in some other way, but they need to say Surfside for us to be able to use our
Okay.
funding.
So that idea kind of fit in the back burner.
Great idea, though.
But what about the helmets?
The helmets, yes, we've got them. Sarah actually has looked into the helmets, and they're going to be kind of interactive, so folks are going to be able to put the Surfside logo sticker on them as well as kind of decorate them on site. So it'll be...
What do you think, Ben?
So we're giving out actual helmets, or what are we giving out?
Yeah, they're helmets that people are going to decorate and brand with Surfside.
What's the cost?
They're about $14 per bike helmet.
So what's the recommendation? How many should we give out?
I think about
100?
150, or whatever you guys want to do.
Sounds good to me. I like it.
That's
Yeah,
why I
else?
brought it up.
Yeah,
Can we control it maybe for children under a certain age?
What, sorry?
Like, can we control it for maybe children under a certain age?
Yes, yeah.
for
Because
family
it
or
would be a limited item, we will have to be a little more stringent with our giveaway because we do get a lot of folks, they want one for their relative, their family at
Yes,
home.
okay.
One for my
Yeah.
uncle,
lot.
one for my
Exactly.
cousin,
Chair,
my 15 uncles that I have aboard. Yes,
I apologize for interrupting. Just
no.
this isn't really something like a T-shirt, something souvenirs. This, the Madam Attorney brought up a good point. To what point is marketing considered so that we could use the tourism funds for this? This would be an event-only giveaway. Within that constraint, we'd able to justify that expense through this. But if it's something that the police department's going to have, police department to give out, well, it may no longer be a tourism
Oh, this is
I
for an event, I think. We're giving
event
out the next,
specific, correct?
right?
Yes, this would be for the Pedaltopia, but we were talking about the helmets?
Helmets.
again? Yeah,
Anything. I mean, even the
Yeah.
bike locks as well.
Mhm.
I mean, think about it. That's just justifying the tourism expense there.
right.
Through that fund, it's really hard to justify it if it's not within a tourism
Yeah,
event.
it was for the event. The only problem with the
event
locks was-
specific purchases. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Then there shouldn't be an issue. It's
All right, so our liaison is leaving us, excusing himself. He's got another meeting to attend. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
See you on Wednesday night.
So what do we do with the helmets?
If maybe the board wants to just set a quantity?
100 sounded good to me. Should we?
Do we still have time to get more, or like the event is coming?
We're gonna order them like tomorrow, so
Okay.
if we just wanna know the amount.
Is that a standard size helmet or?
I believe so, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah Liss. It's a mix. It's going to be a mix, so children's sizes and adult sizes. And I think because we're going to have it be an artist-led activity where you would decorate it as part of the art activity, so we'll be able to not just like be giving them away willy-nilly. We'll be like, you're here to do the activity. I mean, that's more the point of it, so because.
So what do you estimate as far as children and versus the adult?
I mean, I think adults are gonna want it, so, and they like to do the activity too sometimes when we do it, so. 150, sometimes you give away 200 things, right,
I
so.
think 150 would be,
Yeah.
150 would be,
But it's going to be for sale?
no, no,
price share
it's
is
gonna
gonna
It's
be,
going to,
150.
oh.
Diana?
I think 100 because it's going to be, are free. They're going to want more
100?
and more.
Lisa?
Okay, fine.
Can you guys please speak into the mic, because I did not hear any
Yeah.
of you.
Everyone said 150 except Diana, who said 100.
Dan, are you comfortable or still?
No, it's fine. I mean, it's going to be enough because it's free anyway. Even if the kids, they have, already most of the kids, they have hamlets anyway. The kids who are in bicycles. And then if they get something free, they're going to get it. Okay?
So I support 100.
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody supports Diana and myself?
Is this extra budget on top of the event budget?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
this would come from the promotional items
Right.
budget, so it's already budgeted. We have enough
Budgeted, but
money.
it is
I'm fine with 150.
I'm fine with 150 also.
150 is,
Okay, 150 at helmets, got it.
50 years. All right, next item on the agenda is, where are we?
The budget?
5H? Right. This is an item that I think I asked you to do,
The budget,
that you supply us with,
or, yeah, this is
Priorities.
budget season, so normally we bring it in May and June.
okay?
So yeah, we just wanted to start the discussion regarding next year's fiscal budget, which we can have over the next couple of meetings. I went ahead and kind of updated the event side of the budget based on the changes that we've made this year. So the additional events that we've added, the food at the additional events. And I basically tried to keep the amounts about the same. I have a meeting with our budget officer this Thursday, so we'll talk about, the resort tax collection, but it's, coming in pretty similarly. We might have to just decrease a little bit, but for now, I've kind of played with the same numbers that we had last year. You will notice, though, that in the updated draft events page, budget on page 24, I did include an extra budget there for the food at Summer Sundays, $2,000. That's something you may not want. And then additionally, in terms of the other, components, we can discuss the contractual services, the promotional activities and marketing side. One comment I do want to make is that I did hear from the Grand Beach Hotel and the Residence Inn that they are interested in obtaining some of that trade show budget, given that we have not been able to travel as staff. Fortunately, as I mentioned, we are just too busy, too small a team to be able to go out there on the road. So that's for your consideration. In the past, they got $10,000 per property. You can increase that, you can lower that. I mean, it's all up to you, but I just wanted to let you know because both teams did reach out to request that. And then, in terms of the other quantities,
Where is that item at?
we don't have it here
Right.
because we didn't have it in the budget last year. But for example, next year we certainly don't need the new Visit Surfside website, for example, so that huge chunk of $58,000 can go to something else. So how you guys want to distribute that chunk of 58, could be up to
One
you.
question, what about the consultant? Gonna be part of this?
The consultant, I don't.
That's the problem.
To be clear, the consultant would be a budgeted line item within this quote. It is not here right now. I
Okay.
don't see it. So it's something,
Not in here.
It's not here.
it's not here.
We will have to add the consultant cost here.
My advice to you, go one by one, see what you like, don't like, and it gives us a framework to start working, but there's some things to add. The consultant will be one of them.
Yeah.
We have to quantify how much level of effort that would be.
I have a question about the walking tours is 2,000, Diana? Oh, sorry, I have a question. The walking tours is 4 days, 2,000.
Yes, I
Are we
believe so.
paying 500 to the guy who do the tour guide, the walking tour, or what? Because we don't receive, I think, during the walking tours. What is the 2,000 for?
To secure the tour guide, the historian.
The tour
paid
guide
tour.
charged 500?
They charge, yes, 500 per
Yeah,
event, yeah.
because it's 2,000 is putting in here.
Yeah, I know, but
How successful is that walking tour?
It's sold out every time. Very successful.
out.
Yes.
We
Very
only,
successful.
if we do 4 a year and we sell out every year, wouldn't want to do 6?
Sure. I mean, they are always popular. We're doing the downtown route this year versus the beach path route that we did in previous years. And I mean, yeah, we fill up every time. I mean, we can only do about 30 people because you can't have too large of a group or you won't hear him or you'll, clog the street. So we got to keep it to 30.
Diana, anything further?
no, just the question that is 500 what he charged for.
Yes, with
To
the
do
History
the
Miami
hour.
Museum. Yes,
The
it's
hour,
through
the
the
500,
museum.
wow.
Yes,
Is that money goes to him or to the museum?
to the museum.
The museum.
History Miami.
I have no
Museum,
problem.
yeah.
So, Mr. Chair, being that we're here, I think if we just go line by line from the top, zip through it, that way we don't jump around and keep coming back to different places. So do you want to just take us through it from top to bottom? We'll just kind of zip through and make notes, and Frank, if you can take notes, so that way when you bring it back to us,
Sure.
it reflects what we're looking for.
I can go through it pretty quickly. The first section is really more internal because it's our, the programs and the software that we need to sort of run the operation. We've got the STR data, which is tracks the performance of our Surfside Hotel specifically. We've got the Archive Social, which is required to properly archive and store our social media records. So we need that as a municipality. We've got the K-Turtle website, which is through Wix. That's about $3,000 a month. We increased our turtle statue repairs budget.
3,000 a month?
No, a year. Sorry,
Oh,
a year.
okay.
A year.
I was
Sorry,
like-
not a month. A year. And then we've got 10,000 budgeted for the turtle statue repairs. We bumped that up quite a bit just in the event that we had to repair the large turtle, Kay. But, so far she's holding very strong, and Public Works.
She's new.
She's new, and Public Works has done an amazing job, putting the fence around and the trees, so looks to be fairly well protected. She survived all of the storms last year, so hopefully Kay is good to go. We've got Sprout Social, which helps us schedule posts on social media. We've got MailChimp, which we utilize for our newsletters and our e-blast communication. We've got the Destinations International membership. I'm going to recommend we discontinue that. They're a great organization, but we really don't have the time to take advantage of their member benefits, if you will. So I would recommend that we discontinue that.
All right, so you can remove that.
Yes. Town videography for community events. We have a small amount there just in the event that, we ourselves can't cover the event. I mean, there's only 3 of us, and sometimes we are out on vacation. We haven't tapped into that very much at all this year, but it's just there if we need it, and we can't cover the event. Survey Monkey, which $425, we use that to do community surveys. And then the Adobe Pro license, which is about $1,000. And then, here on the promotional side, we've got destination advertising for $22,577. That's an odd number because it was cut down from the first proposed budget to the town commission last year. Town commission decided they didn't want to dip into the reserve, so they flattened it a little bit. We had to shave some money off of certain items. That's why we ended up with that kind of strange number, but I would recommend that we keep at least 20,000 to see if we want to do some advertising. And of course, we're going to do the GMCVB's luxury campaign this year, so we're going to track that very closely and see how it performs to see if we want to, do that again next year.
They're going to reduce that to 20 even?
Sure, if you want to reduce that to 20 even, that's fine.
No.
Maybe we need to learn more about what is included in that destination advertising. But I think we are seeing the numbers are coming slowly down. I think it's time for us to up.
Yeah, like
We
resort
should-
tax numbers coming down.
Right, so we
that
need to promote more. This is the time for us to promote more.
What do you recommend?
Maybe for next meeting, we can learn more about this destination advertising, what things are included, so we can put more fuel on it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. But I don't know if you were here. Were you here the meeting that we pitched the GMCVB
Yes,
luxury
that-
campaign?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So it'll
And
be.
we participated on that.
Yes. Yes. So that will be launching in June, and they will get us a lot of analytics and specific data to track. So I'll bring back some more specifics for the next discussion. The new Visit Surfside website, of course, we mentioned we no longer need that, but keep in mind that at least those 58,000 could go towards the consultant, the special event. Probably it's going to be more than that, but at least you've got 58 there that goes towards the consultant. We have 20,000 for promoted social media and search engine marketing content. We've been doing a lot of more promoted social media at this board's request. We've also utilized this budget to bump up our event listings on Eventbrite to give them more visibility, and on Facebook, and we've seen some good traction from that, so I think it's always effective. We have a business district initiative here for $5,000. We haven't gotten to that yet this fiscal year, but that's just a little bit of money for something we could do for downtown.
Is there any proposal or anything for that, or it hasn't been touched?
Not yet, but it will come to the board in the
Isn't
next
that
few
a
months.
part of the passport that we were thinking about?
Maybe something we can work into the Taste of Surfside proposal, yeah, that Alan
Which
is
will
going to
be
touch on.
strictly, basically in the business district.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying it's in line with that.
Yeah, it can be. Then we've got the branded gifts and promotional items, which I know the board really wanted to make sure that we have all these great events. We have a lot more events as well, so we do need the bigger budget. We'd originally proposed 100, but we went down to 50, and we've given out tons of stuff at all of these events. We've got bike helmets coming up, but we've done umbrellas, lunch boxes, bags, you name it. We've given out a tons of stuff, yoga mats. So they've been great, you know, attraction to the event. A lot of people love the giveaways, so that's always popular. Photo, video for website and marketing content. We've got about $10,000. It's always good to get new assets and photography. We are redoing or refreshing the town website currently, and we hope that's going to be launching this month. So it'll be good to just get some new footage of new photos that we can add to our tourism page. The printing is an important line item for the visitor guide and other materials. They're quite expensive to print, and we do have to, you know, we do try to supply our hotels with copies year round. So I would maintain that. The media budget is one that you can decide what you want to do with. We had set about $20,000 for this fiscal year. We, of course, tapped CIIC to help us promote Paddletopia, and they did a great job for $4,000, securing $44,000 worth of coverage, but we have not utilized the rest of that budget so far. You know, PR is always great, but we have seen, you know, a lot of our events be successful anyway. We've got the trade shows items there, $20,000 to participate in the sales missions. That was originally going to be for us to go on the road. As I mentioned, it's just too hard from a time standpoint for us to do that. So that $20,000 could potentially, you know, go back to the hotels if you all would decide that.
Discuss that at all, or?
An important one to talk about is also the holiday lights. Last year we spent about $33,000 on the palm fronds, and I've heard from a lot of companies that, you know, they want to give you guys some proposals, but I need to know kind of the budget that you all want to work with. If you want to do something, you know, more, do we want to go bigger on the holiday lights, or do we want to keep what we did the last season?
Wasn't that the upgraded multicolor all the way to the edge? So how do you upgrade that?
Well, I mean, you could do additional, so lighting in the pocket parks. You could do, yeah, you could do. We've done a lot of lighting in the pocket parks.
I think what we have is
You liked
plenty.
it? Okay, sure. If
Yeah,
you
I
guys
think
like
it's
that.
plenty. Mr.
Just-
Manager?
Sorry, sir, point to that. Just keep in mind that we're going to redo a lot of the landscaping in the downtown as part of the walkability study. So I wouldn't.
Yeah, but you're not gonna, that I know of, you're not gonna remove those expensive palm front.
We're not removing them at Joel's. They're too. But the pocket parks, they're a little bit more aged in landscaping. We will be redoing the landscaping there.
What I like to see, actually, now that you're talking about the pocket parks, at the entrance of Byron, we have a little sign. It's really chintzy.
I agree.
Chair.
Yeah. So my question is, what can we do in order to enhance that entrance signage? Because it's pretty poor.
From where to where?
Chair, I like where your head's at because I'll tell you right now in a second because it's a good flashback. And just to add to the vice chair's point, it's actually by St. Joseph's Catholic Church as you drive north into Surfside.
Right.
There's a little pocket island that
Yes.
we own. And it was for the longest time it was perceived that it might belong to the church. So probably around 5 years back when I was in public works, I said we got to take over that island before we lose it. We got a price for a monument signage, and it was around $6,000 to $8,000. I said, well, how do we tame it? Let's do a U-channel of a Surfside, Uptown, Beachtown, and then we'll come back and upgrade that. Sounds like we're ready to come back and upgrade that.
Absolutely.
I think it's a good opportunity.
I think so. That's why I brought it up.
You're coming into Surfside. You capture every time you come to Surfside as a monument sign, and not when you're coming up Byron Avenue.
Right. The other signage that I think it needs upgrading is on Collins by the
The beginning.
Veterans Park. That signage illumination is very poor, very, very poor. So perhaps maybe that's one of the things that we can look at. So to enhance the entrance, the lighting entrance on that sign. And
Monument
again,
signs.
sorry?
Yeah, I'm listening. The monument signs. It
Yeah,
sounds
the
like
monument.
We want to
Yeah.
upgrade the Collins Avenue one and the Byron Avenue one.
Yeah.
Through the chair, but I just want to clarify, you mean the lighting in the one by Veterans Park only, or is it the structure itself?
Actually,
lighting.
Because they're all the same, so if we change
yeah,
one
actually,
structure,
I
we
think
might.
it's the lighting more than
Okay.
anything else. 'cause
Okay.
it's very, very poor. I think it's one of the letters actually is missing light.
Okay.
So,
We'll look at
and it looks poor. It looks
Yeah.
like, it just doesn't look
Mm-hmm.
substantial. You
Sure.
know, and we are a substantial town.
Yes, we want
And
it to
more
be.
because it's the,
The first time
You're talking about this little tiny sign?
Yes.
this is the first time
I found the sign.
know
It's,
That sign didn't exist before. We just, how do you brand it? You're coming to Surfside. People think that's still Miami Beach. It's not.
Right.
Actually, that island belongs to the town of Surfside.
Right.
wow.
And
What-
everyone-
what-
So-
so
I
let's put
think it
some.
should be even to change it because it really is really poor. When
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
it's like when you go to Val Harbor, you say, welcome to Val Harbor.
Hey,
It's
but let's not
big.
talk about Val Harbor.
No, I mean, no, but it's the same. Well, why not? We can do better.
Well, that's why I brought it up. I mean,
Because
we're
that one
now
is
in that
really, no
venue.
one knows that it says Surfside.
So
But Chair-
So let's
There
look
there
into
used to
that.
be nothing. We put that there to mark that you're coming to Surfside. Again, it's a good opportunity to upgrade it.
But
Mr.
Chair,
Manager, then you're in charge of that?
Or to upgrade it because it's
Thank you.
very small.
but just to
Yes.
research for the next time, do you want us to look at a similar monument sign to the other ones that we have, or other options for designs to get different prices?
Through the chair, for budget purposes, we're combing down the budget. Come back with a revised budget, present it to you.
Okay,
And that way, right now, we're just combing to the budget,
right.
and I will tell you what's
Yeah,
what.
but I think we need to make note of this because it's not in here.
Well, this is this budget we're trying to comb through to come back to us for the next fiscal year. But this sign upgrade, we've got money we can use for it right now. So we don't even have to put that in. It's a one-time expense. We'll move some of the whatever money from website
Yeah.
or something
So
else to
what-
it.
What the vice
Yeah,
chair
we-
says, let's jump on it now that it's hot. Let's just do it.
And then you don't have to worry about it for the budget for next year because it'll already be done. So,
Good idea.
And I think I agree because it's something that we can fix right away. That everyone knows that it's very poor to getting into
Right.
Surfside by Collins.
Okay.
No one sees it,
So it's
actually.
done. It's done.
all right.
To change, maybe to find another option, like Fran said,
Mm-hmm.
instead just
Next.
the lights.
Sure. Okay, where were we? Let's see.
We got the.
We were in
Just
travel
holiday
trade shows.
lights. Okay,
Sorry?
so holiday lights, we're good with the.
Yeah, we're good to
with
go.
The same
Yeah.
budget. Do you all want to look at proposals for 33,000 and under, or do you just want to move forward with the palm
Just keep
fronds?
it the same.
Keep
I
it.
think keep it the
Okay.
same.
Yeah.
Okay. Clear on
Everyone's
that.
happy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The next item would be out-of-home advertising and street banners, which can be quite expensive.
What
So-
would that be for? Like, have we used
$1,000.
it?
At the same time, though, I will say that in previous years, we used to do, say, banners for Third Thursday season on Harding Avenue, banners for Paddletopia, but now we have so many event series at the same time
I don't think
that
it's
we
worth changing.
can't necessarily just pick one. So I don't know if we maybe want to drop
What about
that.
the standard, why don't we standardize on those poles, Surfside,
Events.
not even, but, visit Surfside, or just
We do have some.
Just welcome to Surfside, or put
We
it
could
in
do
all
welcome to
the-
Surfside. We have some standard evergreen Harding Avenue banners that we created a couple of last year.
Yeah, but they're dull.
Do you
Green
know?
color?
They're multicolor, and they would highlight different things in the business district, like I forget what it was, sushi and sweets. You know, kind of paying an homage to some of the stores that we have. That's something we could put up. But if you all would like a welcome to Surfside, I mean, we could look at that as well.
I just like Surfside. I mean, I just want to make sure that when you're driving through, people don't say, oh, it's Miami Beach.
Okay.
So the more that we can put Surfside on in lights, I would prefer that. How does the board feel? Diana?
Well, there are different purposes, I guess. What he's talking about, different purposes. You are going to use for events?
Well,
Right,
you
so
see, if
since-
you're going to be changing them for events, it's going to be a costly thing because you're going to have to get up there, hire somebody to come in and change all the poles. Thursday's one time, Saturday Night Live is another one.
Well, then I agree, just Surfside. I prefer just Surfside and the same colors that we have in the sign.
Okay.
That may be an idea. I think that's a great idea.
I mean,
Put
to
it-
have
put it
consistency.
with the block letters.
Okay, we could come up with a design that.
I think it's,
Could we
Brings that
think
up.
about promoting Surfside website?
Website. Yeah, we always put the website on the banner. So those
That's
are
the way, if we
Yeah.
put events on our website, we promote the website, people will go there and check out what's going on.
Yes, we'll make sure. The website is usually the
Yeah.
bottom part of
So
the
I
banner.
think to make it kind of standardized, stand out, is if we do the block letters also on those signage, I think it'll be great.
Okay.
Because people, as they driving by, they know it's Surfside. Now, they still don't know.
Yes, I agree.
Okay,
Okay, we'll bring you all some designs in the future. The next thing would be the Instagrammable spot frame. That's something that we are going to bring probably in June. That's a Lisa idea to have an Instagrammable spot frame, but that wouldn't be something that we would do next year, so that 10,000 could be available for something else. And then we get to the event side where I showed you, let's see.
third Thursday, summer. Fridays.
Yes, the different, let me just pull it from, no, it was,
What can we do to enhance that, the classic car show? I mean, it was okay, but it was not, wow.
the classic car show. I don't know, I felt it was, I guess in comparison to last year where we had the rain and not a lot of cars came out, it felt kind of wow to me compared to last year, but you know, it can always go bigger and bolder. So if you all want to add some additional funding to that to
We added
enhance
food
it.
money.
And food money and
Food money.
vendors. There were vendors.
Food money's in there. We added $1,000 for food.
No, but we have both.
Look at
On
the updated
here.
one. Yeah, that's what
The
he's-
one I have it on the screen now. The updated suggested budget.
Yeah, 18.
Yes, right. So we went up from
Yeah,
17. I
there it
think last year it was 12, so we went from 12 to 17.
18.
And this could be 18 if we add the 1,000 for food.
Maybe if you had cheerleaders showing off the cars, you might, step it up. I'm just throwing things out there.
We had the feathered women out there.
Oh, we did have the
Yes,
feathered?
Yes.
But that was very nice.
And what about if we do that later instead early because it was so very hot? Because we do that in the morning and it's very hot.
What about an evening?
A evening, yeah.
What, the car
Something.
show?
Yeah,
car show?
No.
why not?
The autos will be featured on.
Apparently, there was a car show, like a crazy car show happening downtown or somewhere else when our car show was happening. So there was
Bay Harbor.
no. The
No, at the
same
same time.
the same day we had our car show. Somebody else sent me a link of
Probably
like
was
a
Miami Beach.
I think the city of Miami was a massive car show, thousands of cars. Like a full operation that happened to be the same day as ours. So I guess we should make sure there's no other car shows. Area.
Maybe for next year we can try motos or electric cars, something new. Maybe the concept is the cars, but maybe we can find a different way of
Like
bringing new
exotic
people also.
cars or something.
Right.
Sport cars, for example,
Yeah.
everyone loves sport cars.
Yeah, exotic.
Okay, while we're talking about the cars, the gentleman that produced this past classic car is here. Want to give out a few words?
Good evening, Alan Andai, Surfside, Florida, 9341 Collins Avenue. So we actually used personal funds at this event. There was, I don't know if you recall, but we added a lot of activations with car arts and crafts. I brought in the race car with the inflatables. That was something that was an add-on, but it wasn't approved, but I
Oh,
included
that was
it.
cool. I like that one.
So that we kind of staged the event where we kept the parking lot as a car show. We had kind of a middle area as a food section. We still provided free beverages and a couple light snacks. And then on the far right side, we kind of made it into like a kids entertainment with bounce houses. So we can obviously add more and bring more. I know that that was something that we wanted to have more than just the cars. So we added and gave even more value than what was in the budget. So.
I like to see more autos. More
Yeah.
vintage autos.
Yeah, so one
That's
thing
what
I can
like
talk
see.
to the, and we did have the car girls that would come and model, and then also stood by you guys when the award show. I'm not sure if you remember that, and that was also added value that we brought into it. One thing that I could do is when I speak to the car organizers is to see if we can open up to other clubs, and if you're, because we call it as a classic car show, so they cap at a certain age, but if you're okay with bringing newer cars, we can just call it a car show. I think that'll allow us to open up to other car clubs, and then fill up the lot even more.
I think,
Diana?
yeah, we had to do different because we're very few cars. The Classic was very few, and you can go just quickly around very quickly. I mean, around very quickly because it wasn't that much. I suggest to do like maybe like Ezekiel was proposing other kind of cars or sport cars or something that is attracting more people.
So if we can rebrand it as the Surfside Car Show, it'll allow us to get outside the theme and bring all ages.
I think,
Is that acceptable to everyone?
yeah, because otherwise,
I enjoyed, I would prefer to see more vintage cars. Classic cars, I don't know if you call them classic cars or whatever the label you can give it. But, people love to see these old Fords, Chevrolets, Chryslers.
No, no,
So
I would like to get some data of people in Golden Beach or in the Four Seasons really interested in old cars. Personally, I don't believe that it's attracting a lot of attention from tourists. It's more about our town, our community, our people. But if we are thinking about events for tourists coming to fancy hotels in the area, maybe we need to find other concepts. That's my point.
Maybe you do a subsection for, so it's a Surfside Auto Show, which features classic cars, and like you have a special section.
Something like that.
So therefore, you can bring in a new McLaren F1 or something that will
that would
attract
be
people.
okay.
I
and you
know
have-
there's Porsche clubs, Lamborghini clubs, so I'm
Yeah,
happy to reach out
exactly.
to them. So it sounds like, I think we can call it still the classic car shows and others, just
Right.
to
I-
kind of open it up. And that should hopefully fill up.
I
this
know that you're the
space.
one that mentioned Bar Harbor, but they have beautiful sport cars every time, and everyone goes there, believe me. Beautiful, beautiful.
Maybe because of the target audience is more connected with sport cars than
But you have all kind, and even Bentley and Rolls Royce and
Right,
all
exactly.
kind, they have beautiful division. No, they are not vintage. No, not just vintage. Expensive.
All right, you got the idea, Mr. Allen.
Yeah, we need to have better.
Okay. Next.
Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, the rest of the event budget, if you want to look through it, we've got Paddletopia in there. As always, I want to mention we haven't increased the budget for Paddletopia, I don't think, much in a while. And it's a 2-day event. I don't know if you all feel like it needs a little more, although it's always popular.
I thought Paltopia, because of the not having a park, what are we doing about that?
That's true.
Yeah,
I forgot.
maybe another
The
year.
part, I think it probably, is still going to be under construction.
Yeah,
Not about the park, I'm sorry. So,
yeah,
Yeah.
Paddletopia is probably out for next
yeah.
film. Right. So, yeah, I mean, there were other event ideas, that Sarah brought to the table, which she can bring back. One of them was that Winter Village idea, for example. That's something we can look at again, the winter season or something else. So we'll
Snow on the beach.
Yeah,
go on the beach.
Okay.
That would
well-
be a hit, I'm sure, if we could do it.
While we're
We
talking,
have done it.
Oh,
Parks
okay.
and Recreation.
On the beach, though?
yeah.
Oh,
Snow
okay.
on the beach.
I've only seen it at the park, but that's
And it's snow on the beach.
so
okay.
Look
That's
at it.
something.
so while we're on budget items over here, I think we're kind of at the end of this. Do we have any more? Do we know how much money we have left before the end of the year? Fiscal money?
For
Things
Physical
acti- for
year.
this
For
this year.
everything?
For everything.
I would have to pull the numbers. I can bring them for the next discussion.
Because if there are things like, for instance, right, we could, summer's coming up, we could have, Tuesday afternoons, an ice cream truck drive around that says, welcome to Surfside, handing out ice cream bars or slushies or, I mean, there's small things we can probably do for small amounts of money that will put Surfside all over and really bring us into the summer.
On the event side, we still have 100,000 plus left for this season. What we need is the consultant to put them together, but we do have the budget available.
So,
Because
How do we get Channel 7 or Channel 4 or Channel 6 to cover some of these events?
Well, that's the PR push. So then you have to utilize some of that PR budget and engage some of the PR folks to help us, because that outreach is very specialized. It takes a lot of following up, and it's hard for a 3-person team, 2 departments to.
Do we have any connections with these stations that I just?
We do with some of their news desks, not necessarily so much the entertainment side. I mean, I've worked a lot with them the last couple of years about the Surfside Memorial, the building collapse, those types of stories.
Yeah, but the building collapse is something special.
Right, but on the news side, so the more leisure tourism, we don't have so many of those relationships. That's why a PR agency really gets that going.
I would recommend that you reach out to, let's say, Channel 7 have that entertainment young lady and guy. They're always looking for new venues, new activities. And I'm sure that they're willing to cover some of our events. I mean, our events are top-notch.
Yeah, they're great events. Yeah, we do send our press list, which includes all of the local news stations, all of the information.
But
We can
need a
try to do
personal
more.
contact.
Right.
You know, face-to-face is worth.
I can try, but I'm saying I can't guarantee or promise
no.
any coverage,
No, but
but
I'm
we
saying
can
try.
certainly, absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
I would also say if they can't attend, just provide B-roll. You know, if you have someone shooting, at least write up something and
Yeah. we
B-roll
can
or
send-
photos after, and just, maybe they could use it, because getting coverage on a weekend is tough. But
Yeah.
I would just,
No, but they have this guy, I forgot his name. And then you have the young lady who's been there for quite some time. They love covering this type of things because they're unusual.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but having said that, you have to have a personal touch, a personal connection. You know, just sending stuff, emails or sending stuff, it's not gonna work. It's that personal touch
Right.
that's gonna make a difference.
And
Okay.
there is an app, Frank, in that is for all the events in different places, how we can get there? And to put it there, advertising
I
there.
guess let me know which one. I mean, we do
Eventbrite.
get. Yeah, we're on there. We're all over there.
We are in
We boost
Eventbrite.
our listings on there to
And
actually.
in Google too, because Google has things to do in source sites.
Google, we have Facebook, Instagram. I'll check the Google side.
Because
but
it has things to do by cities.
we post them on GMCVB as well, the Miami and Beaches website. So we try to get them out there,
Okay.
but that is something that when we engage the PR agency, they did, of course, get us a lot more
Okay.
of those listings.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
All right, anything else?
Besides that, we got the walking tours, the farmers market sponsorship. You all, the last meeting, directed the market.
Has there been any change?
So the market will continue through the end of May as is, because they're not going to move it for just 2 or
Okay.
3 weeks. Then it's going to close for the summer, and then in this sometime in the summer they will come back to the town commission or the tourist board with a plan to open at 96th Street. We actually have a site inspection with Javier from the market tomorrow at 96. So yes, it's going to happen.
Awesome.
Okay,
We're on
excellent,
it.
awesome.
Yep, and that
Just going back to that walking tours thing you just said, if we're selling out every time,
yeah. Do we want to add maybe
That's-
a couple more?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they're
I think it's a good.
quite
I think it's
inexpensive.
a good idea.
would you think there's enough to sustain it as a monthly event, or what would you like to see? Or every other month?
Might depend a little on the availability for
Oh,
Mr.
it's too hot in
George, but
summer,
Yeah.
yeah.
summer,
Summer is
it
too
is-
hot.
It
Too
is
hot.
very
Summer.
hot. yeah.
So
But
what,
you're not gonna do it in
what are the
summer.
4 dates happening right now?
I think we started they started in January or December. I'd have to check. There's so
maybe-
many events. It's a blur, but we start them in the winter season. We do them during the cooler months.
So maybe add 2 to start because the other ones are selling out. Does that everyone sound good with that?
We can look
Sorry?
at.
Can we make a motion to increase the walking tours from 4 to 6?
Well, we're not changing anything, he's proposing it, so
Oh,
he
for
can
now.
change it now in his notes. So when he represents it back to us,
Yeah.
It'll be
it'll be in there.
okay.
We don't really need a motion on that.
Okay. The next time I'll bump that
All right,
up
they're not
by
doing
2.
anything now anyway till the next
Right.
budget season, so we're
Right.
fine.
Lisa?
oh no, I was gonna say that now on the website, you can actually, it'll link right to your calendar, all the events.
Yes, we
So-
have Google calendars available as well. So
Yeah.
for folks that want to pull our events right into their Google Calendar, we now have that feature. So please
Very good.
take advantage.
Right,
And
we
then
already covered the holiday lights.
yes, so then we just have the lump sum remaining, which is kind of similar to what we have this year, or the undefined events, if you will. So these would be your ice cream trucks or whatever else you want the event consultant to do.
Okay,
No, so there's a night between that and the website, you're talking about $200,000. So there's enough room for a consultant and a lot of
Yeah, and
activities.
it's sure.
Awesome.
okay, very good. Mr. Manager, any comments?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right, so we're done with that. The next item is music on the beach, time and location.
Yes, so we just wanted to come back to the board and see how they felt about the time and location change over to 96th Street. I will say I did walk over towards the very beginning of the event, and it was kind of light in attendance, but I will say that the 96th Street location looked good to me in terms of the setup. I mean, it was well set up. There didn't seem to be anything in the way. There were no cables being run through the hard pack. There were plenty of people on the beach. I think maybe the karaoke kind of scared people a little bit. People didn't want to get up and sing, so I think that came into play. I think if we had had a great band, we would have had a lot of people. But I think some of you might have swung by later in the day later in the event.
The kids were more open to do that. I mean.
Right.
I mean, I saw two confusions. One, a lot of people thought the time was still at 4 o'clock. So people were like trying to get there. Why wasn't it starting yet? What's going on? I think moving that time was, and also location wise, there was a huge draw from our community center from hotel guests, people who are there that just make their way down to the beach. And when you move it to that other area there, you're in no man's land. You have people coming in, coming out. It definitely, I mean, it wasn't that there wasn't a lack of participation. Every event I've seen on the beach over here had a large group of people that were just enjoying it. And you took it away from here, and people just didn't show. So I would strongly recommend moving it back to the original time and location, which has been a pretty good success until now.
I agree.
Want to let the board know that for the May Gazette, since I knew you guys might change it, I just announced the date and I said details on the town website. I didn't say the time or the location, so
I agree.
anticipating we might change it again.
I
But
agree.
that's a fair point, yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Okay.
So just to confirm, we're going back to
The original.
Original time, original place.
original time, original.
Oldie but a goodie.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, the next item is Taste of Surfside proposal. Is that the passport?
Yes.
Okay, Alan?
It's
Alan Andai, 9341 Collins Avenue. And I know it's getting late, so I'll try to be quick.
Please. Pretty
You guys always push me to the end, and then I have to like.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's good.
So this was an event that was asked to bring back. This would be the second edition. I believe some of you participated in the first one, but we did kind of a passport concept where you got a list of participating restaurants. And what we did on the first event was you actually had to go in, you get a little bite. One of the things that you guys asked me to come back to is see what restaurant participation was interested. So we're calling it the Strolling Taste of Surfside. And the concept is you get a taste of Surfside's rich and diverse culinary offerings and charm at the second edition of Taste of Surfside. Guests will experience a 2-block strolling tour of the numerous restaurant options ranging from American, Asian, Middle Eastern, and South American tastings. Each reserved guest will receive a plate and beverage at the landing tent base. The tented area, what we do is we create a focal point where guests come, they register, that's where they get the plate, the passport, and a Prosecco cup. And usually at that location, we'll have event seating. We'll have either music by a DJ or band, up to the board's suggestion, with additional beverage station, event seating, and then once the objective and goals promote the Surfside downtown business offerings to tourists, hotel guests, and residents from other regions to learn, engage, and create new patrons to the business district. The location that we did last one was on 95th Street. I spoke with Frank, and we recommended putting the tent at the 94th Street parking lot, and then from there they can move on, so that way we do not have any congestion or issues at 95th Street. And then it's a 2-walk walking tour stroll between 94th and 95th on Harding. So the concept this year, I spoke with the restaurants, and instead of having guests come into the restaurant, bother the staff, we would do a similar concept, what we do at Third Thursdays, where we'd have bars stationed at each partnered restaurant, and then we'd have our in-house staff, so that we're not taxing the restaurant on having a lot of guests coming in during dinner service, as well as we're not utilizing their resources. And the concept is you get fresh made food. We spoke with a lot of chefs and restaurateur and owners that they would have their signature dish as a tasting size portion, so that'll get brought out to the bar with our servers, and then as you're walking with your plate, and your passport, we can get a stamp so that we make sure that you visited all the partners. One of the things as I was walking is there's a lot of restaurants and stores, and obviously we can talk about timeline, but there are boarded up locations. So I thought to utilize the spaces, we can have like a Prosecco station or beverage station kind of in those areas, and we'll illuminate them so it's not just kind of a dead spot while guests are walking through. And then I thought it's up to the board. We do kind of a voter ticketed option where at each bar station you can put your top 3 or favorite restaurant, and then at the end we tally it up and then we give an award to either the best restaurant or the top 3 for second and third.
When it's gonna be?
That's up to the board. We haven't picked a date. Obviously, we're heading into the summer months, but I was thinking as a start into season between the end of late September, early October to kind of kick off the season. But these are right now, the rest, obviously details need to be ironed up, but these are the partnered owners and restaurants and chefs that are interested, which I believe we have 15 locations that want to participate. And then there were a couple others that were interested but want to know more details, obviously date. Something that we had talked about with all the restaurants is most of them are open on Sunday in the evenings. So I was thinking like a 5:30 to 7:30 or 6:30 to 8:30 kind of tour, so that way we get the maximum amount of restaurants open. I spoke to some that aren't open, and they said they'd be willing to stay open and have the food provided for the event, so.
I have a question. The event's similar to this one that we had many, many moons ago. We were selling these passports.
Correct.
This is the same, because the concept is the same.
So what we did is, obviously, budgets have changed from when we were working with the town 8-9 years ago to where they are today. So I actually was able to create a budget that compensated all of the coverage, and I kind of based it on about a 200-person RSVP. This would not be something you just show up. It's obviously catered to adults. If kids want to come, they can, but it's, we're serving Prosecco and
But we're not charging for
espressos.
this.
I have it set up where I can include up to 200 plates, passports, and Prosecco glasses within the budget. If you want to charge it and bring some extra dollars to the tourist board,
So
we're happy to
I'm
do
just
that.
trying to kind of just compare to what we had done, to what this is. So that's what I was getting at. So I think it sounds fantastic.
I love it. I think, at that time of day, there's going to be a lot of, Surfside just has a lot of kids now. There's a lot of kids in the area. So I'd like to see built into that a kids stamp, where I know Prosecco included, obviously, but food options are still available. There's a lot of, people out there.
We're open to all the food portions, and obviously we'll have water and Prosecco. So we want to make sure there's enough hydration going on and they're not drunkily stumbling through. And then also I'd coordinate with Frank about I would like to personally see a police at each intersection. So that way we make sure that they're only crossing when the light stops. We don't obviously want to have any issues with that. So we'll coordinate with that to make sure that we have the right staff.
And the other thing is, if this is an RSVP event, one of the things you find is people RSVP and don't show. So a lot of like restaurants, what they've done now is it's free as long as you show up. If you don't show up, there's a $20 surcharge, because this thing's going to sell out. It's going to be, it sounds like a very, very hot ticket item, and maybe we even need to consider putting more into it if it does sell out. But
I'll coordinate that with Frank. We spoke with the restaurants and saying that we would commit to up to 200 dishes. So that's what I'm basing it on. Do you recall how many? It was a very popular event. I just don't remember the audience.
When we sold out.
Yeah.
And people at the event were saying, where do I buy a passport? Where do I buy a passport? Well, we sold out.
So we can up it up, and obviously it's all about how many restaurants want to participate and how many tickets or passports we want to sell.
Because the point was also to consider an event for adults. Remember, was the idea more than for kids. I don't say that the kids are not allowed, but we were thinking the idea. I remember the idea was even to put in the community center to do something, and then we decide finally for this.
We proposed Surfside Social, which was like an adult catered
different.
event, and this is
Different.
one of our larger, more production events, which
I think
I'm happy with any age group to
I think
attend.
this event was more to each of the restaurants.
Correct.
In the business district. And at that time, if we had 7 restaurants or a lot, and it was a sold-out event. Imagine now we have 20-some-odd restaurants.
Do
Not
you-
that they're all gonna participate, but I'm just saying to
Sure.
you, the
I
quantity of
can
restaurants is a lot
rebudget on
more.
a 300 RSVP.
Where are we
ticket.
right now? We're 200 at how much money?
I added it up as 32,500.
32,500 for 200. So what is that a person?
And how you are going to give it
Yeah,
away?
we're talking about a certain amount budgeted to the restaurants, but we're also staffing, adding bars. It's a much different experience than walking into a restaurant and saying, "Where's my food?" This is more of a
Station outside.
This is stationed outside, and I'm staffing outside. Plus, we're creating a seating area.
Right, it's different.
So
Much more
you
elaborate.
have a base of fixed costs, and then you have a per
Right.
person to go to the restaurants. So the question is, right, at 200, you're at $160 a person, which is a pretty. I mean, that's enough. That's enough to send everybody to any restaurant and just get.
So we
Yes.
put a $15,000 allocation. So base the 200 based on 15,000.
What was that?
On the food portion with the partnership, we're calculating about 15,000 allocated to restaurants. So it's 200 off of the 15.
I mean, obviously.
What is the problem you want to solve?
Well, the thing is, is that I'm trying to look at this objectively, right? So if we're spending $32,000 for 200 people, that means that instead of making an event, I could just have a gift certificate, and anybody can go to any restaurant, spend $160, right? It's a lot of money. So if you're going to spend $32,000, I don't want to see a 200 person max. I want to be able to bring 400 people out or whatever it is. Because it's not a good return on investment, right? You're getting people are going and getting small bites at each restaurant, and they're paying more money than if they went in and ordered a prime rib steak. It just I don't see how that adds up. I mean,
Or how it's going to work? Yeah.
like if we had the 32,000 split over 400 people, now we're at $80 a person. Still, almost every restaurant on the strip, even Harbor Grill, you can go in and sit down there, but on 200, I mean, I don't know.
But you are not sitting there, right? It's going to be something else.
I'm saying you're not sitting there, but I could rent out every restaurant in Harding, right? It's the most, and you got Munchies out there who we're now giving them $160 a person, and you're getting a slice of pizza.
So again, I just want to make sure we're clear that we're not, I understand the math on the overall event, but there's other facets, there's staffing, there's the cost of the alcohol that we're not allocating 100% to the restaurants. I'll rebudget the event and up it up to a 300 RSVP to see if I can fit it within this budget. And then if you're considering to have 400, we'll connect back with Frank and say this is what, based on the negotiated rates with the restaurants, and then you let me know if I can approve that.
I mean, if I told any restaurant on Harding Avenue that I was going to bring 60 people at $100 a pop, they'd all rent out the restaurant, or 120 a pop. They would all rent out the restaurant to me for 2 hours, provide their entire wait staff, and serve my whole family dinner, right? That's what catering does when you go to a restaurant and rent it out. So we're providing them we're providing them takeout for more expensive than sit-down service. Doesn't make sense. I mean, I love the idea of the event. The idea of the event is that you're giving people more than they could have done themselves, right? So if you've got 500 people all doing takeout and it's costing whatever it is a person, so we're getting a great value for people. But on this one, I don't see the great value. Anybody else?
And how, I guess how they're going to do, what are the requirements to RSVP too? We are 5,000 in that town, right? How many people for 300 or 200?
I think just first come, first serve. But Ben had mentioned, the cancellation fee, if you will. So then what would we require credit card numbers to register? Because how could we charge those?
You would have to do that, like the restaurants all use.
We can
What's
do
the-
that, or if we have the success that we anticipate we're going to have, whoever's next in line that cancels, obviously the day of, it's hard to.
We have a big waiting list.
We
Yeah,
make sure
but-
that those people are next in line.
Or you have, walk-ins might be available. Yeah.
We're going to
Or ma-
obviously overcompensate and have a certain percentage of expected walk-ins, and not everyone, even somebody driving by, will find out. But
I think that back then in history, charge $20 per passport per person.